official station to talk Yankees and Mets. WFAN, WFAN FM, WFAN FM HD1 New York, and Odyssey Sports Station. Evan Roberts. Tiki Barber. It's Evan and Tiki on WFAN, The Fan, 101.9 FM, and always live on the free Odyssey app.
Happy spring morning to you in the big city. Before we say anything about sports, Sean, turn your mic on. Tiki Barber, happy birthday to you.
Thank you. You guys suck at singing stuff.
Happy birthday. That's
Thank
it?
you. Hey, love you guys.
All right. Happy birthday, Tiki.
Boy, he's really getting cranky with his old age.
He certainly is.
I am the Grinch.
We got a lot to talk about today. The Yankees and Mets are engaged in a PR war based on what time they should start their games. The great Connor Hughes will join us coming up at 12 o'clock. We got a new edition of Posted and Toasted, where Tiki guesses the old tweets of our fellow WFAN coworkers. But yesterday, we got the news that Dexter Lawrence wants out. And there's a lot of ways this can unfold right now. How are the Giants going to handle it? How nuclear is Dexter going to go? Just so you know, today, beginning like somewhat in the next few minutes, I guess, the Giants are having their voluntary workouts. Okay, so you're not legally obliged to go.
Right.
Most guys do show up, especially with a brand new head coach. Dexter Lawrence won't be one of them. But there's one thing I want to read to you before we opine on this and get deep into the Giants, the Jets, Mets, Yankees, and everything else today. I was reading the New York Post this morning. Paul Schwartz does great reporting.
Fantastic.
Listen to this paragraph about Dexter Lawrence and why he's demanding a trade. You know, my assumption has always been money. I think we all agree it's probably money. But I want to read this paragraph to you because it kind of pissed me off. I got to admit.
And you're not even a Giants fan.
No, but I call things the way I see it. One source close to Lawrence cited his contract, consistent losing throughout his career, and frustrations with roster management, including the hardline tactics taken with his close friends, Leonard Williams, Julian Love, and Saquon Barkley, all of whom have won Super Bowl since leaving New York, as reasons for his discontent. Like,
Come on.
you're telling me that you're upset about Saquon from 2 years ago, Leonard Williams from 2 years ago, the constant losing, which, by the way,
Julian Love,
like, the losing you would think is done. You just hired a Super Bowl winning head coach. The first part, I completely understand. Contracts, we'll get into it in a second. But that other stuff, Tiki, feels like garbage.
Yeah, look, it's an excuse. It's a convenient one, but it also makes it sound like Dexter Lawrence feels like he missed out because he got paid here, everybody else got paid elsewhere, and they also won a championship. And so it's not necessarily the roster management. I think it's coaching, to your point. It's not having the right dynamic from a coaching standpoint, which causes things to fall apart. And then ultimately, you have to make tough decisions when your team isn't winning. And so, like, I hear what Dexter's saying, but it feels like a bogus excuse. It feels like piling on for no reason.
Yeah, it's one reason, Dexter, and it's okay to say it because it's a complicated issue.
Right.
It's about the money. It's about the fact that even though you didn't have the greatest year last year, you were grossly underpaid.
Yes.
And that's fine. Say it loud, say it proud. I'll say it for you. Your contract is past due. And so your discontent is about that.
Right.
But to cite, and I'm not saying it's Dexter leaking this to the Post. It's probably his agent, people around him. But to leak out that Julian Love and Saquon Barkley is a reason for your discontent, it really does feel bogus. And even the lack of winning stuff. They just went out and hit a grand slam home run in the coaching hire.
Right.
You would think that Dexter
You got a
Lawrence,
quarterback finally.
Yeah. You would think he's happy about the current state of the franchise. So it did feel like he's looking for other reasons to not be happy.
Yeah, and look, this is it was different for me when Coach Coughlin came in because we had success with Jim Fossil. We went to a Super Bowl, and we had a couple of those years where it felt like this could be that team, right? Including his penultimate one where he ended up losing in the wild card round out in San Francisco. So it never was, man, we stink. We need a new coach. It was, maybe we need another view of how to create success. And then Coach Coughlin comes in, and I got to tell you, while as daunting as it felt to have to deal with his, let's call it pain in the assness, which was ultimately led to ultimate success, it was almost refreshing.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was almost like, all right, there is now an accountability for all of us in a way that maybe we don't necessarily like, but it's going to be good for us. And so when you get a John Harbaugh, just like when we got a Tom Coughlin, if you don't see that and what you see is, I want to go win someplace else, then what the heck? Like, it makes Giant fans say, well, get the hell out of here then.
Well, it's funny you say that. So yesterday, this news broke late in our show, let's say about 12:45.
Mm-hmm.
So we digest it. We give our thoughts on what should happen, what may happen. But I've also been trying to do my best to read the tea leaves. I listen to Sean Morash's 2 Giants podcasts. I may listen to other Giants podcasts.
Good for you.
I interact with friends of mine who are Giants fans to get a vibe on what the Giant fan is thinking. And I have an observation that to me is fascinating. It's fascinating about sports and our mindset. And you tell me if I'm wrong here, Sean, as the host of 2 Giants podcasts, as you being the Giant legend, Tiki. I get the sense that a lot of Giant fans would be okay with trading Dexter Lawrence, where it would be, all right, you know what? If you don't want to be here, you're coming off a bad year, you weren't in the greatest shape in the world, fine, we'll trade you. Not that you're kicking him to the curb,
right?
But there seems to be a wide openness to the idea of the Giants saying, we're going to move on from you. Is that a fair observation?
I think it's a fair observation, and I think it's rooted in a couple things. I think Giant fans, I don't think all of them, I don't even think a majority of them, but I think a vocal minority turned on Dexter Lawrence last year.
Yeah.
For better or for worse, the moment Carl Banks ripped into him, I think that perked a lot of people
Carl
up.
was the Pied Piper?
No, because I think
Well,
I think it made people feel comfortable. Like, people watch, people feel like Dexter Lawrence was, not the same Dexter Lawrence, and you hear Carl Banks say that last year, and it made people feel like, okay, what I'm seeing, another guy who we trust is believing in this. But beyond that, Evan, the John Harbaugh thing represents something new for Giant fans and something refreshing, which is this is like a clean slate, right? We're turning the page. This is the one-off season where no matter what Harbaugh touches, we buy in and we believe it's good as gold. If there's ever a year to trade Dexter Lawrence and he wants out and Harbaugh stamps it off, that's why Giant fans are like, good. Then we will restart this thing without you because we are excited for once. And while you've lived the losing as a player, we as fans have also lived this losing. And we want people who want to be here for the new start. If you want out, get out because we're going to be here as well. And I think that if Harbaugh wasn't here, I'm not sure Giant fans would side with the Giants in this.
Right. They would understand Dex.
Yes. And I think because Harbaugh's here, it's like, no. Then get the hell out if you don't want to be here.
That may be the answer to a question I have about this because Dexter Lawrence has been a better Giant than Odell Beckham Jr. was as a Giant.
Ironically enough, traded for each other.
They were, yes. That was one of the picks that the Giants got back from Cleveland, turned into Dexter Lawrence. I'll never forget that. But would you guys agree that, like, if we're just let's say Dexter never plays another snap for the Giants again, and we're just talking about their Giant careers, and I get they play completely different positions.
No, man, those first 3 years from Odell were elite.
Well, and Dexter wasn't elite?
He was, but you don't feel it as much. You left those first couple years, 3 years with Odell Beckham, and he was your favorite player, and it wasn't even close. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I also think sexier position helps Odell.
Well, I think that
100%.
That's a big part of it.
And so I think there is an appreciation for Dexter Lawrence and how great he is and was, but that last year it felt like he didn't care. And I don't think you ever got that with Odell. You got, like, disgruntledness and pain in the assness, but when it came time to strap on a football uniform and go on a football field, the dude was balling no matter what.
But even though it's not the same based on the trying factor, the last 2 years of Odell Beckham Jr. as a New York Giant were not nearly as good as the first 3 years. Now, injury had a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
But
I think you had an excuse.
You did, but you also could have we've seen the best of Odell Beckham Jr., which I guess some Giant fans are saying about Dexter Lawrence. I also think that Dexter Lawrence, pound for pound, no pun intended, was a better Giant than Saquon Barkley was. And yet, I think the emotion, and maybe you answered it based on the sexiness of the position or the fact that he was kids' favorite player and they'd run around with their jersey.
Right.
It feels like getting rid of Dexter Lawrence is a lot easier to many Giant fans than it was getting rid of Saquon Barkley and Odell Beckham Jr., even though, for my money, I thought Dexter Lawrence was better at what he did than those two guys were at what they did. And it's not to put them down, and they play very different positions, and one's sexier than the other. I get it all. But it feels like, and maybe John Harbaugh is the reason, like moving on from Dexter Lawrence feels less emotional to Giant fans
Yeah.
than it was getting rid of and trading Odell Beckham Jr. and losing Saquon Barkley.
I think part of that is because Dex disconnected us from him last year.
By the way he played last year?
By the way he played,
great way of putting it.
The disgruntled nature of his season, it felt like it allowed us to separate ourselves.
Yeah, you know what, Tiki? That's a great way to put it, because when you reflect on last year's Giant team, in a weird way, as bad as the team was and they won 4 games, Giant fans found newfound excitement in watching the team because of Jackson Dart and Cam Scattaboo.
Right.
And it just felt like this was new. It was refreshing. And watching Dexter Lawrence feel like, at least to us, looked like he was half-assing it at times.
Right.
He just didn't capture the same energy that Giant fans were capturing, which was this bottled-up new energy. And it just kind of felt like the stank of the disease of losing was all over Dex while we were trying to move on with our lives in the Jackson Dart era.
Agreed.
And it was a turnoff.
It feels that no matter what you say next about, well, let's not trade him, let's hold on to him, no matter what you, Tiki, and what you, Sean, say, I think your previous answers tell you how you feel. You are ready to move on from him. Even if your strategy is not to do it, the way you just described all of that, which I think is fair.
By the way, think about the people who are making the decisions here. And this is Harbaugh, who is new to the Giants. It's Joe Shane. It's Don Aponte. It's like it's the organization itself, the mayors and the executives, the scouts, etc. They also have likely the same reaction as we do. It's like man, he's such a great player. I want him to be successful here. But if you don't care about us and you're going to start talking trash about us, then why do we want you here? We paid you, dude. It's not like you're underpaid. It's not like you're on your 5th year contract.
But he is underpaid.
Of course he is. But I would argue he's paid to how he played last year.
Well, last year, yes.
But that's all that matters.
But to the previous years.
You are what you have most recently done.
Yeah.
Right? Not what you should be doing or what your potential is, because that's a dirty word when you don't live up to it. It's you are worth what you've done and what you're currently doing. And what he currently did is not $21 million a year, right? He doesn't deserve to be at $31 million a year, which I think is the peak right now of defensive tackles. And so he wants to be there, but you got to earn it, man. Earn it. And he didn't earn it last year.
Today at about 1 o'clock, John Harbaugh is going to meet the media. Not because of this, but because of the fact that the Giants are having their non-mandatory day where I guess they watch tape and they have meetings and they give each other high fives. There's no actual practice, but it's non-mandatory. And so we obviously know Dexter Lawrence isn't going to show up based on the fact that he's demanded a trade, not coincidentally, 24 hours prior to this. But John is scheduled to meet the media at 1 o'clock. And this is his first test.
Yeah.
This is his first, you want to call it a crisis? Maybe that's too much.
Think it's a crisis.
It's something.
I think it's an inflection point.
An inflection point.
Where we are now going to understand how he will handle issues like this.
And how should he handle it? Because I don't think he's going to be a hard ass. I don't think he's going to say what you said, which is all fair, which is, hey, Dexter, you're under contract and you sucked last year. Come out here and earn it. I doubt John will say that. What approach does he take?
He will say, Dexter Lawrence is a great player, and we want him to be a Giant. And I don't know if he's going to talk about conversations that they've had. I doubt that they've had any.
Well, according to that New York Post report, they are not actively talking about a new contract. So it's not as if, like with the Jets and Breece Hall, they're talking about a contract. The Giants aren't talking about it.
Yeah, but I'm talking about John Harbaugh as Dexter Lawrence's coach.
Gotcha.
Not John Harbaugh as a de facto general manager.
Right.
This is you as just like Evan Neal had this conversation with John Harbaugh, where Evan Neal told John Harbaugh, "This is how I'm going to be great. This is my plan for how I'm going to change the narrative about me." And we saw the thirst trap video that we talked about last week with him working out, looking slim, busting his ass and grinding. And it feels like, oh, great. He had a conversation with his head coach, and his head coach helped put him on this path. It was no different than when Tom Coughlin came in and he told Tiki, I don't care how great you are. If you fumble, you're not playing. So I was on this grind to fix my fumbling issue with Gerald Ingram, my running back coach, and you could feel it. I don't know if he's had that kind of conversation with Dexter Lawrence. I would guess not. But if he hasn't, that's the question you need to ask is, have you talked to Dex? And if you have, what were the conversations like? Not as GM John Harbaugh, but as your head coach, John Harbaugh.
John sort of dealt with this a couple of years ago because remember Lamar Jackson was going to hold out and eventually everybody was happy. The Ravens gave him a brand new contract.
Very different situation because he hadn't been paid.
Very different situation. Right. And here's the reality. Because I think as a Giant fan and obviously the Giants organization, there are basically three distinct options on how you want to handle this. Option number one is to give in, make him happy, work on a new contract, get him into camp. He's smiling. You hope he's in the best shape of his life.
By the way, that's
what he has a big
that's what I think is going to happen.
Okay, that's option number one. Maybe the likeliest scenario if you want to rank it. Number two is they trade him. Number two is they start to take phone calls. Someone makes an offer that they feel is good enough to move on from him for, and they deal him away. And option number three is they stand tall, and they say, dude, you got 2 years left on your deal. And here's the reality, because let's not get this twisted. Dexter Lawrence is not missing games due to a holdout. That's not happening.
Yeah, I can't see that
So if
either.
we ever play this game of who has the upper hand, the Giants clearly have the upper hand, in my opinion. Because
he's under contract.
He's under contract, and he's not holding out. You want to tell me he's holding out of a non-mandatory minicamp? Sure. You want to even tell me he's holding out of training camp? It may happen. But eventually, he's going to play football. He's in the prime of his career. He's due to make money. He's not going to sit out. So if the Giants want to handle it that way, and it's not the most comfortable thing in the world, because John Harbaugh will be asked a million questions. Dexter's teammates unfairly will be asked a million questions. And so it would be this cloud hanging over the Giants. It's certainly not the best case situation. But if the Giants stay firm, let's not get this twisted. Dexter Lawrence will eventually show up and play football.
Right.
Am I right?
Yeah. I mean, and here's the other thing to think about, and this is on a personal level. Dexter Lawrence is very close to creating himself as a villain. Like, very close. We know he's a good dude. We see the smile. You see the sack the dance that he does. Like, there's an affection that you have for how he plays and how he presents himself, or how he is presented, our perception of him. But he is getting very close to becoming a Giant villain. And that's not somewhere fun to be.
Does he care, though?
I don't know, but he should.
We'll get to your calls coming up, 888-808-1019. As a Giant fan, you got three options. What do you want to do? Just give in and give him a contract? Trade his ass? Or dig in for a long battle? Plus, we'll get into why yesterday's Knick victory felt and was very, very different. Our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.
At Nielsen, fun is in the driver's seat.
Get in on the savings fun now at Nielsen Dodge during our lease pull-ahead event.
Get out of your current lease early and get into a new vehicle.
Don't wait for your lease to end. Upgrade now. We have hundreds of new Jeeps, Chryslers, Dodges, and Rams to choose from.
There's 0% financing available, 0 security deposit for qualified buyers with 0 down payment available.
Lease a new 2026 Jeep Wrangler 4-door Sport S 4x4, just $259 a month.
Or choose from hundreds of quality certified pre-owned vehicles.
End your lease early and upgrade today.
So get out of the old and into the new.
On Route 10 in East Hanover. Online at NielsenDodge.com.
At Nielsen Dodge, fun is in the driver's seat.
Declaration of Deals Sales Event. With approval term 24 months, due at sign 8104, at tax tag 498, doc fee and DMV fees. See dealer for details.
Where you learn matters. At Monmouth University, students study on a vibrant coastal campus with direct access to research, culture, and industry. From classrooms to competition, from creativity to career prep, Monmouth offers a vantage point shaped by location and purpose, blending a personalized learning experience with Division I pride and a rising national profile. Bigger thinking, more inspired, you amplified. Amplify your future at Monmouth University. Learn more at monmouth.edu/amplified.
Hey fans, on Sunday, April 19th, when the Yankees take on the Royals, take your family out to the ballpark for the chance to receive a very special kids giveaway. It's Hershey Park Kids Ticket Giveaway Day. The first 10,000 kids, 14 and younger in attendance, will receive a Hershey Park Kids ticket, courtesy of Hershey Park. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com/tickets. That's the Yankees and Royals on Hershey Park Kids Ticket Giveaway Day, Sunday, April 19th. Visit Yankees.com/tickets today.
Hey, Boomer Esiason here. You know, after years in the game, I don't guess. I go with what works. Red Pocket Mobile gives you 3 major 5G networks to choose from. Switching cities? Switch your network. That's like calling your own Audible. Visit redpocket.com to see why more Americans are switching to better wireless without paying more. Red Pocket Mobile, your new ultimate cell carrier.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877 Cars for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now or go to carsforkids.org.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I need a little ranch, step to the ranch.
There's a new flavor in town, the Jalapeno Ranch Club at Chick-fil-A. With that juicy Chick-fil-A original spicy or grilled chicken, a buttermilk ranch bun, candied bacon, pepper jack cheese, and jalapeno ranch sauce. It's got big ranch vibes with a little heat. Chick-fil-A's new Jalapeno Ranch Club, available for a limited time only. Order ahead on the Chick-fil-A app.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
Tune in for the Yankees' first pitch presented by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees.
At Northwell's Cardiovascular Institute, there's no heart condition too complex for the most experienced team in the tri-state area, with the nation's highest cardiac success rates. It's why others trust us to help treat their patients with the most challenging conditions. And with hundreds of cardiac experts working together across Northwell, we're making untreatable a thing of the past. Visit northwell.edu/limitlessheart. Northwell. Raise health.
Hello, New York, New Jersey. Bank of America, in partnership with Visa, invites you to a FIFA World Cup 26 watch party. Open an eligible Bank of America checking account in participating financial centers only for an opportunity to reserve 2 complimentary tickets while supplies last. Experience special musical guests, games, giveaways, food, and more, all at a legendary venue. Learn more at BofA.com/BofA Visa Watch Party. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 26. Bank of America N.A. member FDIC. Terms apply. All rights reserved.
A multi-billion-dollar settlement is paying claims for up to 21 years. If you were exposed to weed killers at work or at home, your rights are affected. If you or your family has or had non-Hodgkin lymphoma, you could receive $6,000 to $165,000 or more. This settlement impacts you even if you're not sick, because this blood cancer can take 10 to 15 years to appear. If you stay in the settlement, you give up your right to sue. Learn more at weedkillerclass.com or call 888-403-8201. Paid for by the Roundup Settlement.
Who sells Continental tires for less than Town Fair Tire? Nobody. Who has a better selection of Continental tires than Town Fair Tire? Nobody. And who gives you more free services for the life of those Continental tires? Nobody. Town Fair Tire has over 100 locations and over 600,000 tires in stock, all at the guaranteed lowest price. And that's why we say nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.
Name brands at discount prices. Town Fair Tire.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away.
Tremfya, guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being 1,000,000 miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
It's upon us. NFL draft time. A time for hope. A time for new beginnings. And time to party with the fans.
Hey, baby, let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs and have some fun.
Round 1, Thursday, April 23rd. Big Blue and Gang Green will be on the clock, and the crew is getting together for a draft night hang. Boomer, Gio, and Jerry, Evan, Tiki, and Morash, Carton, and McMonigal will all crash the FAN rooftop here in Manhattan, and you can check them out streaming live at 7:30 p.m. on YouTube, X, Facebook, and Instagram. New York football changes that night, and it's all brought to you by FanDuel and your home for New York sports, WFAN.
I'm looking forward to that. We're having a big draft party on April 23rd, starting at 7:30 on the rooftop here at WFAN. Can I tell you what my wish is? I have a wish.
Tell me.
Very, very innocent wish. I hope that the NBA schedule makers give us a Knicks playoff game that night.
Why would they do that?
Why not? And I hope.
What time would that start? So
I mean, it depends. Probably 8 o'clock, 7th, right in the middle of it, right?
We got Yankees, Red Sox at 6:10. Draft
okay,
at
that's
8.
fine. 6:10 will be fine.
Yeah, because the game will be over by 8:45. So very early on.
So we won't even be to the. Actually, we might be at the Jets pick.
Maybe, but keep this in mind about a Yankee-Red Sox game. As important as it is, not to diminish Big Mac's emotion or Sean's emotion towards a Yankee-Red Sox game, it's not a Knick playoff game.
No, it's true. And the Red Sox stink right now, so the game will be over by the 4th inning. So you're not going to worry about it.
Good
point.
And all I want, and I say this with peace and respect and love, because I'm not going to be a bad guy. I'm not a troll. I'm an IBO. But I do respect two of the guys that we're working with as true diehard Knicks fans. And those two people would be Craig and Gio. Like legitimate, great Knicks fans.
Mm-hmm.
I want to watch their slow death of watching a Knicks playoff loss. And I'm not going to say it. Like, I'm not a bad guy. I'm not going to say anything.
Why are you
I'll
saying
be an
they're
IBO.
lose?
Because I don't even know if they're going to lose. The Knicks may win by 50 for all I know. But that'd make my night.
You know what else would
That'd make my night.
You know what else would make your night in that scenario?
What's that?
On the WFAN airwaves, not YouTube, it would be Tommy Lugauer anchoring draft coverage.
Oh, wow, the Knicks are losing. That's my dream. Now, the odds of all of that happening are very low. Number one, the Knicks have to play a game. And number two, the Knicks have to lose. Like, the Knicks are a hell of a team. So there's a really good chance it goes the other way. And I've got to sit next to diehard Knicks fans Craig Carton and Greg Giannotti gloating with a 35-point lead in the third quarter over the 76ers. But it will be a fun night. So make sure you're locked in on the WFAN YouTube page. Some thoughts on the Knicks in a few minutes, including some odd comments from Mike Brown and why last night's win felt very, very different. But obviously, Dexter Lawrence, the New York Giants, are center stage. John Harbaugh is going to meet the media in a few hours. As soon as he comments on Dexter Lawrence, you'll hear it right here on the Fan to hear how he responds to it. But obviously, Dexter Lawrence has demanded a trade. And now, what do the Giants do? Brendan is calling from Mineola. Hey, Brendan.
All right, I'll tell you what, Dexter Lawrence, big, sexy Dexy. We waited years to have this feeling as Giants fans again. We have the coach. We have the quarterback. We have the young team. You don't want to be here? Get the hell out. Pack his bags. I'll drive him to the airport. Shane still has a relationship with the Bills. The Bills are the worst run defense in the NFL, and they're still Super Bowl contenders. Call the Bills. Get a first and a third. Sexy Dexy, get the hell out of here if you don't want to be here. If you want to be here, suit up. Get paid, shut up. Let's go, Giants. No nonsense.
I like it, Brendan.
How about that?
I told you, he's getting on the edge of being a villain.
Comes with fire right there.
It happens quick, dude. It happens quick.
Buffalo doesn't have a second, so I wonder if a first and a third is like a great return that I don't think you're going to get necessarily.
Yeah.
I forget what I predicted yesterday. Did I say a first and a third?
Maybe it doesn't even matter. It's just a first and something else. So fourth round pick, fifth round pick,
Yeah,
something like that.
If you can get a first back for Dexter Lawrence, and in Buffalo's case, it's a little bit later in the first round, which is what I envision. Like, I think if you're getting a first round pick back, which the jury is out on, it would be latter part of the first round.
Yeah,
Buffalo's an interesting matchup,
Yeah,
though.
because when you think about it, Dexter Lawrence, to the teams that would like to acquire him, it's a finishing piece to a team that's close.
Yeah. And you know how I would view Dexter Lawrence? Like, I'm going to put my eye outside of New York football helmet on. The way I would view Dexter Lawrence, and don't take this as disrespect, though maybe you should, I would view him as, yeah, he played on a crappy team, and he wasn't motivated.
Yeah.
Now, come to my team, whether it's the Buffalo Bills or any other contending team, come to my environment, and we'll get the sexy Dexy from 2 years ago. But I think it would be easy as a fan and maybe as a GM to dismiss last year as a product of a dysfunctional team.
True, but I think the problem is too many teams know that that's not the case.
But it may be the case. 2 head coaches, 2 defensive coordinators. Maybe he was annoyed about the dismissal of some of his friends in the last couple of years. I wouldn't use that excuse now because it feels like everything has changed. But I can, from the outside, view Dexter Lawrence as an easy bounce-back candidate.
You know, one more thing on that note that's been bothering me sitting this commercial break. The dismissal of his friends. 2 things. Number one, what happened to the glowing story that Joe Shane went to Leonard Williams and asked him, do you want to be traded and where do you want to be traded? Number one. So shouldn't Dexter Lawrence maybe, I don't know, be okay with the fact that Leonard Williams got to pick his spot? And number two, you know, I know that his guaranteed money's up. There was a time when Dexter Lawrence did get said contract from the Giants, was top 5 at his position, and part of paying him cost the Giants financially not being able to retain Julian Love or what they wanted to go with Saquon. So it's very easy to say, you know, they let all my friends walk. Hey, pal, you also gobbled up a lot of the money they had at the time.
You sound like our last caller. Do you want to whip out a get the hell out of here?
I don't want to whip out a get the hell out of here, but just that part of it, Dexter Lawrence loses sight of the business of football a little bit. That's all I'm saying.
You don't want to say get the hell out of here just in case he isn't traded and then it's used against you.
I want to make one thing clear. I love Dexter Lawrence, and I think the Giants will be a better team next year with Dexter Lawrence.
I agree with that.
But
yeah,
but
keep going.
Yeah, you get a first-round pick plus and you don't want to be here. I could give up 1,000,000 yards on the ground with you. I could give up 1,000,000 yards on the ground without you. And
but
we'll live.
rebuilding your run defense becomes more difficult when you take a piece like that away. That's why I don't like that answer of, well, we sucked without you. Well, we sucked with you. We'll suck with you. No, but you're also going to make it more difficult to fix a problem that John Harbaugh has acknowledged was a big issue.
I have no doubt. I have no doubt about it. All it would do is tell you probably have to go D-tackle with that pick. So I get what you're saying. You don't want to be here, then get the hell out.
There you go. That's what I was waiting for. Just like our last call. Get the hell out of here. Even though you've got a Giants tattoo on your calf, which is going to make things awkward.
No, it's actually on his arm.
Oh, it's on his arm?
We've clarified. So me and him have something in common. We have giant tattoos on our arm.
Yeah, the good thing is you're not demanding a trade.
Well, I can't. I'm lifetime contract.
Hawk is calling from South Florida. Good morning, Hawk.
What's up, guys? How are you?
All's good.
Good.
I'm on the last caller. I'm not going to say get the hell out, but I'm getting there. I just think last year was not an aberration. I really feel he's in a big decline. Paying him now, I think, would be a huge mistake. Being in my profession, so what motivates me is just being a better. I'm not a player.
But being as great as you could be.
Yeah, be as great as you could be. I understand athletes can be, of course, money motivated. That's what it's about. But at this point, I just feel like he doesn't want to be here. And once you say trade me, with all that's going on, the happiness in Giants camp, with new thing going on with it, it's just time. Just get rid of him. At this point, just get rid of him. He is the villain. Tiki, I totally agree with you 100%. He's becoming one of those villains right now.
Yeah.
You don't want to be here. Here's the door. Go.
Yeah, I think it's funny because I felt like Myles Garrett was dancing towards being that with the Browns.
And then they paid him.
And it became like, I love you guys. Let's go.
The same thing would happen.
But he had earned it on the field, and he had earned the right to say, I feel underpaid.
Right.
Now, Dex is doing the same thing, but he didn't earn it on the field. It feels like every day there's a double down. So there's now Paul Schwartz story that comes out in the Post. It's not just I want to, get paid, and so I'm going to request a trade. It's, well, this team sucked, for the last 3 years. You traded all my friends, and they won Super Bowls everywhere else. I don't want to be here because they're not here.
Yeah.
And so
the timing of that part is very strange to me.
It's stupid.
That's a year ago.
It creates ire in the fan base.
Yeah, because I think they hear that and they say, hey, we weren't happy with that, but we're over it.
Right.
Because there's a new sheriff in town.
100%.
There's a belief that this franchise is different. Like if this was a year ago and Dexter Lawrence demanded a trade and cited, I'm tired of losing, and cited coaching changes and cited the loss of good players, I think we would all say, yeah, I agree with you.
Right.
I think the fans would be like, yeah, you're not wrong about that. But you're saying it now. It's like, but that's old news.
Right.
Like, I think we're finally over Saquon Barkley and Julian Love, if anyone was under it, and Leonard Williams.
I almost forgot about Julian Love. I was like, oh, yeah, he was here too.
Yeah. It's like an old news kind of complaint. When the truth is, it's about money.
Yes.
And it's okay that it's about money. Football's a complicated game when it comes to contracts, where I understand when a player says, I want to get paid. Your contracts aren't guaranteed. We know owners can cut you at any moment. So I totally respect him saying, I want to get paid. The problem is, unlike some other guys who do that, your leverage is in a weird spot. You don't have a lot of leverage.
Yeah.
You're not coming off a great year, and the Giants know you're not holding out.
Right.
So, okay, we'll get to July. What are you going to do? We know what you're going to do. Eventually,
You're going to show up.
You're going to show up.
Right, because you don't want to, and you shouldn't, and you can't afford to at 28 years old, miss a season.
Right, and he's not going to.
Because that's a season in your prime.
That's why, like, of course the Giants have leverage. Now, they may not want it to get ugly, and I respect that. They may not want it to become that thing. But Dexter Lawrence, I can promise you this. You could save the freaking tape all you want. Dexter Lawrence is not holding out during the regular season. That is not happening.
Right.
I'd be stupefied if that happened.
And he shouldn't during camp because he can't afford to come into when he finally gets to the team out of shape.
Right, which is a risk.
100%.
That's and that's a big issue once we get to July and August. Harvey and Dix Hills. Hey, Harvey.
How's everybody? I want to go back to last year.
Yeah.
All right. I think Shane Bowen had been fired. I believe Patterson became the spokesman as the acting defensive coordinator. And, Carl Banks and Tiki Barber, I consider them football mentors. I try to increase my knowledge. So when Carl Banks brings attention to Dexter Lawrence last year, I paid attention to that.
Yeah.
So, and Patterson's excuse is that he is double teamed a lot.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't care whether you're in a 3-4 or a 4-3. Defensive linemen are used to being double teamed, and he was double teamed and triple teamed in the past, and he managed to excel.
Right.
That got my attention last year. That he's either not in shape. He either has that elbow injury, and there's a lot of knowledge now that I don't have. I don't know whether he's still injured. I don't know if he's in shape or not in shape. I would not release him or cut him until I find out what that situation is. There's a lot of unknown information at this point.
Well, Harvey, you kind of nailed something here because there is a ton that we can actually find out. Now, look, Carl Banks went off on Dexter Lawrence last year. I know that Carl talked to people who knew what was going on with that situation, and that's why he got so heightened and emotional about it, because as a former player, just like me, when you hear the story, it pisses you off. And so that's part of it. But here's the moving forward part of this. John Harbaugh is viewed as a great coach. One of the most important things that great coaches do is manage relationships with their team and their players.
Yeah.
And so getting this smoothed out without it continuing to become an issue, because let's go back to the word I described, Evan. This is an inflection point, and it's not just for Dex in his career. It's also an early one for John Harbaugh, because managing this type of stuff is so important. A lot of times it happens, and we're not even aware of it. Right, we have no idea. It doesn't become public. You don't have a disgruntled player or an opportunistic agent talking to the media and putting it on blast out and across the city or the country or whatever it may be. But I think John Harbaugh has one right in front of his face right now that he has to manage.
Yeah,
and it's going to tell us a lot about how he manages.
It's rare that I ever take something you're saying about the Giants and say, let me show you an example of how this worked out so well for the New York Jets. but I will do it. And I don't know if the credit goes to the Jets more than it does Quinnen and his agent.
Go ahead.
But it came out after Quinnen was traded that he demanded multiple trades.
We had no idea.
We never knew.
Right.
And ultimately, you say, okay, well, what does that mean? Here's what it means. They traded him out of nowhere. We didn't really see it coming. And ask any Jet fan what they think of Quinnen Williams. There's no negativity. It's just, it didn't work.
Right.
He was a good player. It didn't work. We got a lot back. He's a Cowboy, whatever. And so whether that's a credit to Quinnen and his agent or that's a credit to Darren Muji, I'm not even sure. Maybe it's both. That worked out beautifully in that it didn't become this public saga.
Right.
This is now becoming a public saga. Frank's in White Plains. What's up, Frank?
Thank you very much for taking my call, guys.
Pleasure, Frank.
Listen, you know something? All the sports they become the really a business. This is all about the money.
Yep.
They have to give him the money, and that's it. They're gonna wind up. You know, it's easy to say, yeah, I drive him there, I drive him here. He's a good player, and they gotta give him the money. I know he's not supposed to say, well, I want to be traded because of this and that, but he should go ask for the money, and they should give him the money and keep the guy.
Well, they don't have to give him the money.
Yeah.
But they have to.
By the way, this is what I think is going to happen. Evan asked us yesterday what we thought was going to happen. This is what I think is going to happen. They're going to redo his deal. I don't know if it's going to be, rip up and completely new. And it's just going to be an adjustment to his deal to make him feel like he's one of the highest paid guys in the league. And then you focus on making him into the great player that we know he is.
Yeah.
That's how I ideally would like to see this transpire. But the more that stuff like what came out today comes out, the more you just start getting mad at him.
No, I get you. And if they decide to trade him and they do it in the next week and a half to 2 weeks, they have a chance with the extra draft capital that they get. We don't know what that draft capital is, but we assume it's something, obviously. They have a chance to kind of change their draft approach, add an extra player or two based on what they got, and they have a chance to possibly be better in 2026. If this doesn't happen before the draft and the cloud is still hovering, while, yes, they can still trade him and clear up cap space in 2026, I don't know for whom, since free agency is mostly over, and they can add draft capital next year, which, by the way, is very appealing because the 2027 draft is loaded. That doesn't help you this year, in a year in which the expectations have been raised. So that's the juxtaposition they're in if they do end up deciding to trade him.
And they don't have a third-round pick this year, so they have limited capital as it is.
Right. So how would you feel if they traded him after the draft and got capital for next year? It's great for next year.
I wouldn't plan on being a very good football team in 2027. I'm just serious because you're taking a problem and only making it much worse without that capital.
Yes, even though you said earlier, we sucked against the run with you, we'll suck against the run without you.
Well, the point being, though, I assumed that meant getting a first-round pick and maybe a third-round pick this year and turning those into D tackles.
Scott's in Amityville. Hey, Scott.
Because rookies suck.
Yes, they do.
You know, I don't know. I mean, I kind of think he's going to be the villain until he's not the villain in a sense with this. But let's think about it. He's coming off a lackluster year after an injury. What Dexter Lawrence is left? What Dexter Lawrence are we getting? Why are we giving him money before he can prove that he can come back to the same level he's getting? You want to trade him, get the highest draft capital that you can get for him right now in the draft, right? Because you're going to need to replace him. Because what, we're going to give him money, readjust his contract, and then he goes out and plays the same way he did last year? Now he's even more the villain.
Yeah.
I don't know what the guy's doing. The guy should have came in. You were rebuilding the team. The Giants are in the best position they've been in the last 10 years. This is your chance to come in and actually prove what Harbaugh said, that you're the center stone, have that season. And again, I'm sorry that you had your best seasons when the team was terrible, but go out and have that season this year and then ask for more money.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right about that, and I think that Dex he's in a weird spot from an evaluation standpoint, because we know that when he is healthy and he's motivated, there is not many better than him. But he's got this weird personality, like this odd personality, where you can't read him. You know what I mean? You can't read what his motivation is, and so I think managing him. This is why it goes back to John Harbaugh, the head coach. Managing that particular relationship is going to be so important in the early stage of John Harbaugh's tenure as the head coach of the New York Giants, because it's not easy. Certain guys are very straightforward. You see their personality just from talking to them. Dex isn't really that way. So getting this thing sorted is going to be difficult, especially because he's not around.
This Fan Focus is sponsored by Chef IQ, Precision Cooking, Effortless Results, ChefIQ.com. Let's go back to the hardwood last night. Michigan topped UConn 69-63 to win a national championship. Ironically enough, a 6-point win in a game that was a 6.5-point spread. Good for Michigan bettors, not. The Knicks, though, last night had a playoff feel down in Atlanta. They won 108-105, not before C.J. McCollum's half-court buzzer beater was wiped out as time expired due to the ball still being on his fingertips. It was the Hawks' first home loss since early February. The Knicks had a furious rally in the third quarter and were led by plenty of Jalen Brunson magic.
Monster fourth quarter for Jalen Brunson. Couple of quick thoughts. Number one, I knew that C.J. McCollum's half-court heave didn't count based on his reaction. Like, you could tell. Like, he was so casual, and I couldn't read what he was saying because he was mouthing something, but it felt as if he was saying, it's too late. And he gave very calm handshakes before it was officially announced that, yes, the basketball was on his fingertips. So I don't know if Knicks fans felt that way because you're obviously more emotional in the moment. But as I was watching it, there was never a doubt that that shot came too late. Look, the win is nice, and we kind of laid it out yesterday, the importance or lack of importance of being the 3 seed, which is right in front of them, if they could just avoid losing 2 games. To me, it wasn't about winning yesterday. It was about some of the things that you saw in this game.
Right.
Number one, we saw, Mike Brown announced it to the world, that's your playoff rotation. He announced it.
Yeah.
Jose Alvarado, thank you for cheering on the bench. That's your job. Deuce McBride, Landry Shamet, Mitchell Robinson, and a tad bit of Jordan Clarkson. Like a little bit. Like we'll see. We'll see a helping. Like a test. Like, do you have it tonight? Okay, get your ass to the bench. So they have that 8-man rotation. We saw it last night. The other thing we saw, it's almost like the Knicks realized, wow, we need to develop chemistry between Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
They look good together. They were actually running pick and rolls
I know.
together.
They're running 2-man games. It's like, where has this been all season long?
Where'd it come from? And I'll tell you the other thing that you already knew. You already knew this, but it's a reminder. Yes, the Atlanta Hawks were 18-2 in their last 20 games. Yes, they were on a 13-game home winning streak. Respect to what they're doing down there. You know they can't beat the Knicks in a best of 7.
No.
And the reason why was exposed yesterday in the last 5 minutes. Like, Nickeil Alexander-Walker becoming a star is not something I had on my bingo card. Jalen Johnson is becoming a star. But none of those guys, not C.J. McCollum at 34, half-court shot or not, none of those guys can take over a postseason game, put the ball in their hands, and say, good night, fellas, the way Jalen Brunson can.
Right, and this is why when you looked at teams like Indiana with Halliburton and Katie in Detroit, that's why you get worried. Because those teams have somebody who can say, I'm scoring 35 tonight. The Atlanta Hawks don't.
It's more to
And if you get Mitch playing the way that Mitch
was
played
underratedly awesome last night, yeah.
Teams aren't beating you. You know what I mean? And so teams like Atlanta aren't beating you. And so I think I'm confused by the Knicks, to be honest with you, right now. Because
go ahead.
You'd asked us a week ago or so, how far do you think they're going?
How does this season end? Does it end with a parade? Does it end with them losing in the conference final?
And it's like, I mean, of course they'll win a round, but I don't see they could lose in the second round. That was my feeling, just because of how they played, the lack of any kind of real competition for 80% of their games over the last 2 weeks. It's kind of like, what are we even seeing? And so you can't help but be discouraged by the Knicks. But then you see a game like last night where it's varied. Right, you talk about the pick and roll game. You see Johnson and Brunson and Cat playing great together. You see Mitch as an unbelievable defender. You see OG as this X factor uber athlete.
The only negative was Josh Hart. He sucked last night.
And by the way, Josh Hart's been fantastic,
and he did have 2 big offensive rebounds in a sequence with about 2.5 minutes to go. They didn't capitalize on that possession, but he kept it alive.
That's just Josh having a disengaged game. Most of the times, Josh is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah.
And so. Maybe not as a scorer, but he's just going to be that hustle guy. Like last night made you look at the Knicks and say, all right, maybe they can do something. But it's also a Hawks team that is not the Boston Celtics. It's not the Detroit Pistons. It's not even the Cleveland Cavaliers. So it's a good win, but it more confuses me than gives me certainty about where they're going.
They've had a very roller coaster season. It's why you have to downplay the regular season, good or bad. And I'm not going nuts about a win. I'm more intrigued by the things I saw. Like, this is going to be their rotation. Cool. Jalen Brunson reminds you that in the final 5 minutes of a game, there aren't many guys in this league as good as him in a big spot. You saw the chemistry between Jalen and Cat, which we've acknowledged. If they're going anywhere, it has to occur.
Right.
And obviously Mitchell Robinson, who they've done a great job. Give the Knicks credit for this. All year long, they have managed his minutes. They have managed when he plays, and they have him healthy. I knock on wood, but he remains healthy. But there was something said after the game that I thought was interesting. It was interesting, and I don't know what to make of it. So after the game, this game was on Peacock, NBC. It was also on MSG. I chose the MSG broadcast because of Mike Breen and Walt Clyde Frazier. Walt did not have anything crazy to say yesterday. But after the game, they had
Maybe he got told to take it easy.
Nah, you don't tell Clyde anything. You let him cook. That's what you do. So they had Karl Anthony Towns on after, and he was talking about the win, and he made one comment that's worth discussing. Take a listen.
Man, just discipline, execution, experience. Damn, tonight reminded me a little bit of last year, man. We found a way to get it done.
It reminded him of last year. Now, what does that mean? Because that's what is he referring to the fun? Was he referring to something Thibodeau related? Was he referring to this is my role again? Like, what did he mean by this reminds me of last year?
He still only took 12 shots in the game yesterday. So it's not like he all of a sudden was the go-to guy. But I think keeping him engaged and not being, all right, get in the post and we'll dump it down to you. Hopefully you got a small, wing on you and you can try to do something, but which in most parts he passes it back out anyways. It felt like he was engaged in the offensive action. And that's probably what he meant. It was just.
So it's about himself?
Yes, I was utilized.
So last year, one of the games they played against Atlanta, they won 149-148. And Cat scored 44 in that game.
Yeah.
So do you think he was referring to that?
Maybe.
How
many shots did he take in that game?
In that game, he took 25, most on the team.
Think about it. He took half as many shots yesterday.
Interesting. It jumped out at me as it reminds me of last year. And I say that because I think a lot of us have compared this year to last year a lot this season, sometimes for the good, sometimes for the bad. What's funny?
It's probably a usage rate thing. I never look at those stats, but I'm sure that's what it was.
Okay. I don't know what he meant. Here's what I know. The New York Knicks have now won as many games this year as they did last year. They went 51-31 last year. They are 51-28 this year, so they are likely to obviously pass that total, assuming they get one more victory.
Right.
And I've said this all year long, even though it feels outdated over the last month. They have been significantly better against good teams this year than they were last year.
Right.
So even though a lot has been made over the last month about they don't beat good teams, which is true, they also have a lot of wins against good teams earlier this season. So while they have almost the same record as last year and they're likely to surpass it from a win total standpoint, they've also had more success when it comes to beating good teams. With that said, whether you're a Mike Brown guy or a Tom Thibodeau guy, this will all be determined based on what happens in the playoffs. Oh, one more clip from you from Mike Brown. I thought this was really interesting. And you tell me as a player if this was done on purpose.
Okay.
So I mentioned how we kind of got an idea of the Knicks playoff rotation in this game.
Right.
And one of the guys that did not feature was Jose Alvarado. He played 0 minutes. He got a DNP. So after the game, Mike Brown was talking about the Knicks, and he went out of his way to name check a guy who was a DNP.
The bench was really, really, really good. Just the chatter, guys encouraging one another, uplifting one another. Jose Alvarado hadn't played in the last couple of games, and he was into the game more than anybody else, and his words were really, really good and meant a lot, especially the times that we got down during the course of the game.
What do you think of that?
I don't know.
He went out of his way to say Jose Alvarado cheered a lot for us. He did a great job.
That's interesting. It's just weird.
Isn't that interesting? You notice these things sometimes when you listen to post-game press conferences. It doesn't jump out at you, but you're like, really? The first guy you name-checked off the bench was a guy who didn't play?
That's what you cared about? That's funny.
I think that's actually very impressive what Mike Brown did.
Yeah.
He's trying to keep everybody happy.
No, you're
right.
right.
And the way you keep someone happy who's not playing is you pat them on the head and say they're doing a great job.
Yes. Good job, kid.
The bosses do that to you sometimes, Sean?
Never. Never.
They should do that.
I agree. A little pat on the back would be nice.
Every once in a while. Just like, you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Because don't you think Jose Alvarado heard that and when he went to sleep last night was like, you know what? I didn't play any minutes, but damn, the coach appreciated my cheering.
Yeah, I would appreciate knowing that when I play a Cars for Kids spot 15 seconds late, they're okay with it.
We'll get back to your calls coming up, 888-808-1019. A lot on the table. Dexter Lawrence wants out. The New York Knicks with a win that felt different. And we'll get to the New York Mets attempting to make the New York Yankees look bad. Get to that coming up. Spring is the perfect time to refresh your home, and Windorama's making it easier than ever during the Spring Refresh Sale. Save up to 30% on your window and door project. Plus, take advantage of low to no interest payment plans when you purchase and install with Windorama. It's simple. Book your free in-home consultation, shop from home, and let their local certified experts handle measurement and installation. Visit Windorama.com to book your free in-home consultation today.
All right, now, Amazon Hub Delivery is looking to partner with ambitious New York businesses to become Amazon Hub partners. Here's how it works. You and your staff will deliver packages to customers in your area when it's convenient for you. And with each package delivered, your business gets paid. There are no startup costs, no long-term contracts, and no delivery experience required. Amazon Hub Delivery just makes it easy to earn some extra money and at the same time gain exposure for your business. You can sign up and learn more at Amazon.com/Hub Delivery. That's Amazon.com/HUB Delivery.
And this Odyssey Sports Minute is brought to you by Flag and Anthem. Real clothes for real life.
This is an Odyssey Sports Minute.
New York Giants star defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence has requested a trade, to which I say, great. The Giants should accommodate him and trade him and try and get a late first-round pick in return. Lawrence has been a very good player, and it's not all his fault that the Giants have been bad. The Giants are 36-79-1 since drafting Dexter Lawrence. They've lost a million games with him. They can also lose without him. I'm Nick Costos.
I need a little range, step to the range, come on, meet me at the
Introducing the new Chick-fil-A Jalapeno Ranch Club Sandwich. With that juicy Chick-fil-A chicken on a buttermilk ranch bun, jalapeno ranch sauce, and pickled jalapenos, it's a little ranch with a lot of kick. The new Chick-fil-A Jalapeno Ranch Club with original spicy or grilled filet. Available for a limited time only. Order ahead on the Chick-fil-A app.
My name is Christine, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, was a healthy 34-year-old, and 3 months later, he was gone. Thankfully, he had life insurance. Ethos made it so easy. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. 100% online, no medical exam. Life insurance didn't take away the loss, but it did give us the space to just grieve.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. Ethos.com/game. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Gold prices are soaring and silver is near an all-time high. If you've got gold or silver just laying around, then you want top dollar, then go to the Estates Roadshow this Friday through Tuesday at TMT Cash for Gold in Old Bridge. For info, go to tmtcashforgold.com.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a cybersecurity engineer at a publicly traded company.
We've been hacked! They're through our firewall!
How is that even possible?
They got my password.
Please don't tell me your password was password.
It's actually password 1.
This is the job for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I opened a restaurant and needed everything. Menus, signage, catering brochures.
Everything and then some.
I went to Staples. They printed it all and even suggested takeout menus.
One money pit with a side of fries.
But now at Staples, you get up to $125 off custom print orders.
$125 off. Now you're cooking. Brand your business in a big way at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in store, online, or in the app by 4/18 to unlock. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Hey guys, let's get real for a second. When it comes to performance, good enough isn't good enough. And that's exactly why Blue Chew just raised the bar. Blue Chew Gold tablets go further than others, combining 2 proven ingredients for circulation plus apomorphine and oxytocin to enhance arousal, desire, and connection from the inside out. Get started today at BlueChew.com. And now we've got a special deal for our listeners. Get 10% off the first month of Blue Chew Gold with promo code WFAN. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information.
I'm a 100% kind of guy, so I got Verizon Fios. It's 100% fiber internet because I do everything at 100%.
What game should we watch?
100% of them.
She hits a
penalty kick
out of the park from way downtown for a
beautiful shot onto the green.
You either have 100% fiber internet or you don't. Get Verizon Fios. It's super fast and reliable with ultra low lag. It's 100% or nothing. Call 1-833-VERIZON to switch today.
Go Teams!
At NYU Langone Health, we know there really is no place like home. That's why we get our surgery patients home faster and have fewer readmissions than any other health system. That means once you're home, you won't need to go back for the same procedure. Instead, you can get back to the things you love. And the next time you need something else, we're here. Better health starts with a better health system. Learn more at nyulangonehealth.org.
This is John D'Agostino from D'Agostino & Associates. It's not easy being an accident victim these days. I mean, how do you choose the right lawyer? The radio, TV, buses, and billboards are filled with law firms making the same old promises, bragging about the same big results. They talk about their proven track record and hope they'll get you to sign on the dotted line. But then what? If a lawyer tells you from day one what your case is worth, please turn around and run. If a lawyer tells you how quickly they'll get your case settled, I beg you, turn around and run. The right lawyer is not a fortune teller. The right lawyer is honest, straightforward, and knows every case is different. He or she will have the experience to get you every dollar you deserve at the right time. So if you want to know your rights and you want to be told the truth, call D'Agostino & Associates today at 888-24-LAW-24. That's 888-24-LAW-24 and ask for me, John D'Agostino, because I've been there and I'll be there for you. D'Agostino Law. Bite back.
When your money gets tight, you have to make some tough choices. Do you pay the mortgage, pay the credit cards, or pay the IRS? For lots of people, taxes get pushed aside until the letters start, then the threats, then the action, bank levies, wage garnishments. You can stop worrying. The IRS is offering new opportunities to help you resolve your back taxes, and Guardian Tax knows how it all works. If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes, you may qualify to reduce your total tax debt by a very significant amount, even if you're years behind on filing. But timing matters, and so does who you trust. Guardian Tax knows the system and how to work it in your favor. They step in, deal with the IRS directly, and fight to protect what you've worked so hard to earn. In today's economy, you can't afford to lose more. Call Guardian Tax now for a free confidential consultation. 800-404-4307. 800-404-4307. Don't wait for the IRS to make the next move. Make yours first. Call now. 800-404-4307.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
Come visit the engagement experts at London Jewelers at any one of their 6 locations.
We love talking about the Knicks and Nets on WFAN, WFAN FM, WFAN FM HD1 New York, and Odyssey Sports Station.
Yo! Evan and Tiki on the Fan. We'll give you a new edition of Posted and Toasted in a half hour. Plus, Connor Hughes will join us at 12. The latest on the Jets' thinkings at 2. And obviously how the Giants are going to handle this Dexter Lawrence situation. We get baseball back today after an off day. And the New York Mets did something very, very interesting yesterday. And I want to make it clear, this is not something I was suggesting. Last week, yes, we were ahead of the curve talking about how the Yankees should have moved Sunday afternoon's game to Saturday afternoon because the forecast was so bad for Sunday and so good for Saturday. And we had a discussion about it. Like, teams should do that.
Yep.
I believe when rain's involved and making your fans sit around for 5 hours, or in this case, 3.5 hours, we should use the technology of the weather and knowing what's going to happen, even if it's not perfect, to make it better. I don't necessarily agree with that when it comes to cold. I'm being honest with you, and I'll tell you why. And for those that are not aware, I'm sure you are by now, the New York Mets' regularly scheduled 7:10 game has been moved up to 4:10 today and tomorrow because the weather is supposed to be very cold. I wonder how many more people, if at all, are going to show up 3 hours earlier than the regularly scheduled 7 o'clock game. Now, the Mets are doing a lot of nice things. They're giving you vouchers. There's actually some free tickets to go to today and tomorrow's game. And if you had tickets to today and tomorrow's game and you're affected by the time change, same thing, you get a voucher for a game in April and May. That is awesome. That is tremendous. I'm just saying, in general, don't you think less people will be at the game because of the time change, and if you just kept it at 7 o'clock and you allowed the fans to make the decision on their own if it's too cold?
Yeah, I mean, more likely than not. But it's also just cold. Like, what are we talking about?
Well, we're talking about 5 degrees if you look at the difference.
Yeah, that's
between 4 o'clock and 7 o'clock.
I think I also saw and read that it was the wind. Wind always makes cold a lot colder than it actually is. So even if it's, say, 50, it feels like it's 30-something.
Right.
With the wind. So maybe it's the wind. And I guess the wind also, if it's gaily enough, could affect the baseball in some regards.
Right.
Or another. But it's still, like, what are we talking about? It's cold.
Wait, so what are you saying? Are you glad that they moved the game up?
No.
Oh, you think it's stupid?
I think it's soft.
You think it's soft?
Yes.
Wow. Jeez.
Like, what are we doing?
I hate rookies.
That's not even a rookie.
Weather changes. Wow. Sean loves it.
I love it.
Let's just try to be careful.
Why
before
do you love it?
Well, there's a couple things. First of all, I think this week's a little unique and different in that in April, you usually get the cold nights anyway with fans.
Yeah.
You know the deal. Kids are off this week, man. There were probably a lot of people
Well,
looking to
some
take their
kids are off this week. Like,
Yeah.
my kids had off last week.
Okay.
Right.
All right. All I can speak for is because Citi Field's on Long Island. All of Long Island is off of school this week.
So it will benefit the kids in your mind.
If you were thinking about taking your kids to a Met game this week, you know what? I got to get these kids out of the house. It's something
Right.
they don't have a bedtime or whatever.
Mommy,
and then you
mommy,
see,
mommy,
Right.
mommy,
and then you see
mommy.
temperatures are going to be 39 degrees at night. That, let's all be honest, there are wives at home that are going, you ain't taking a kid to the game tonight. It's cold. 4 o'clock start. People have time to work. We know half the people working from home anyway. You will get more kids in the ballpark this week.
So true.
Yeah, I think it's one of those situations. And first of all, let's
So
eliminate.
it's a money grab then.
Well, I think you're just going to I actually think you're going to draw better in comparison. I do.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how many people are in the ballpark
Right.
at 4 o'clock.
I don't think a lot would be in the ballpark at 7, I guess is my point.
This shouldn't be a Mets versus Yankees issue in terms of fans, but I do think this is a Mets versus Yankees issues in terms of PR.
Yeah.
Because I believe, no one's telling me this. This is my brain as a longtime New Yorker. I believe that the Mets said to themselves, oh boy, if we move this game to 4 o'clock, the Yankees will never follow suit because they'll never copy us, and they would get the wrath of some fans who say, hey, how come the Mets can move the game and you guys can't?
They're not going to care about that.
Well, you don't think that there will be some bad publicity, especially for the Yankee fan who freezes their butt off tonight?
I cannot see the Yankees. Maybe the Yankee fan, but I can't see the Yankees themselves caring enough about this that they're going to respond and do something else.
Well, they're not. That's my point. Like,
Right.
the Yankees are not going to follow the Mets. They would never do such a thing.
We
so
are
they're forced to keep the game.
New York Yankees.
Yeah.
If you want to come, come.
Yeah, but you're still
Flip that.
But you're going to still have potentially Yankee fans upset that you didn't move the start time up.
No.
Look at Sean. Sean's a Yankee fan.
Yankee fans aren't soft like that.
So
I would
Yankee fans are used to playing in October. It's going to get cold. We get our minds right in April for October.
Those are some fighting words right there.
Just
from
play
Tiki.
the game at 4 o'clock, Tiki. I'm over the cold weather.
So you're soft.
Definitely soft.
I think Sean's soft because of this winter. That's why he's soft.
Well, that's definitely
You
it,
got to
yeah.
remember that a lot of the Long Islanders, New Yorkers, New Jerseyans that are Yankee fans, they were down in Florida. Right? They're the highfalutins.
Yeah, well,
they
good
were
for
down
them.
in Florida. So they come back there. It's not that bad for them. They didn't have a long winter. You know,
We did, and it aged just 5 years, and I'm tired of sitting outside in the cold.
So you are commending the Mets for their decision?
Yeah, because I also don't think it's outrageous. They're not playing the game at 1. I know 4 is not a perfect time, but people do get out of work, and I just think, look, if I'm going to complain about rain, I know this is different, and getting ahead of things, I like that they looked at the forecast. They acknowledged what kind of week this was locally with kids being off as well and said, this makes more sense to move this game to 4 and get ahead of it with your fans. And they did right with the vouchers and everything else.
Look, what they did with the vouchers is great so that if you are somebody that can no longer go to the game, it's a no biggie spot because you're going to get a chance to go to another game, maybe a much better weather game. So I commend the Mets for doing that. I'm just telling you, if I ran the Mets or the Yankees, I would move dates or times based on rain. I would not do it based on temperature.
Yeah.
That's just me. That's why our discussion last week. So
we're in agreement then?
Yeah. No, we are in agreement. Where we may be in disagreement is that there are going to be some Yankee fans who are going to be pissed off about this. Because they're going to say, we're freezing our butt off. Why couldn't you move the game to 4 o'clock?
No, they're going to say, you guys are soft over there in Queens.
So this is just going to become another battle in the Yankee-Met war?
Yes.
This is just another
I think you're going to...
You're soft because your team makes you soft. Needs to put you in the sun rays as opposed to dealing with the wind. It's going to be blowing a little bit.
You know, I don't like that. It's colder at Citi Field because of the wind off the marina than it is in the heart of the Bronx.
Is that true?
Oh, stop.
Can we prove that?
You are so just making stuff up.
No, hold on now. As somebody that's grown up as South Shore trash on Long Island, you know it's always cooler at the shores. It's cooler off the water. The Mets play right on the water.
There's a river. There's a river.
Oh, that's true. It's to the back of you, though.
Yeah, you got to prove it with, like, game time temperatures. Like, are the game time temperatures or the real field temperatures colder at Citi Field in general than Yankee Stadium? I can't prove that.
With wind chill?
I don't know. Is it true? You tell me.
It sounded like something Craig would say, so I went with
it. Sounds like it's true. It sounds like something Craig would say. That doesn't make it true, bro.
The wind blows up the East River?
Yes.
I forget because we're not looking at the river.
Yes.
Here's the truth with time changes. And I put a poll out earlier like, hey, if you had tickets to tonight's game, Met or Yankee game, what would you prefer? Keep the game at 7, move it to 4. It was overwhelming, move it to 4. But I think it's all about your selfish interests. Like, if this was a year ago, I would really hate this change because we'd be on the air. And I hate that. This doesn't affect, I will admit, this does not affect me personally as a Met fan. I was not going to either of these two games.
Right.
I'm probably going to start today's game at 7 o'clock anyway on DVR.
Right.
So I'm going to start the game the time it was going to start anyway. So I admit I'm a complete IWO, independent weather observer. I'm just saying I wouldn't necessarily move things for temperature. I'd move it for rain. That's just me. But the individual, based on their selfishness and their situation, that's how they will determine if they like it or if they don't like it. It's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Like, Sean likes it because he's thinking to himself, I can be home. I can watch both games.
Yeah.
It's a Cam Schlittler kind of night. This is great.
It's awesome. I could lock in.
I respect that. And then there were some, like if we were doing afternoons, they did this last year. I was pissed off. And I admitted it. I said I'm pissed off because selfishly, I don't want the Mets to play during the day while I'm on.
Right.
So we're all the same way in that our decisions or our opinions are formulated by our selfishness. Now, let's get back to your calls. If you've missed any of the show, you could rewind it on the Odyssey app. A lot of Giants and Knicks to begin with, and we'll mix in some of this Mets versus Yankees Cold War time change battle. Let's go to Andrew in Queens. Good morning, Andrew.
What's up, fellas? How we doing?
All is well.
Good.
Well, so quickly before my Giants point, I actually grabbed a free ticket for the Met game tonight, but I'm going to the Yankee game, so I'm going to go to Citi Field for like 3 innings, drink their $5 beers, then head to the stadium and watch a real starting pitcher go in the Bronx tonight. So, anyway, my Giant point, Tiki, this is for you actually. I'm curious from your standpoint. So when a player, clearly this is a strategy that Dexter Lawrence has in terms of playing the trade me or sign me or whatever.
Right.
What is the discussion like with the player's agent, and then I guess also with his Giant teammates too? Because there has to be some sort of strategy here, knowing that you're gonna piss off the fan base, you're gonna piss off the organization.
Right.
Is there a lot of weighing pros and cons? I don't think you ever did this in your career, but I'm sure guys who have personally.
Yeah, of course.
What is the strategy, the thought of going into this?
Well, I think it's intentionally in the offseason. And it's even more so now because when I was playing, guys were around. Even though it was the offseason, if you lived locally, you'd work out at the stadium. You'd go there and you'd be around. You'd see dudes. Hey, man, what's up, man? I'm just hanging out, getting a workout in, etc. Now you can't be there in the offseason. You have to wait until the official program starts. And so by doing what Dexter's doing, having this, and it's not him, it's his agent, demanding this trade and it getting public, it becomes this like internal agent, GM or whoever, contract guy, battle that's being played out in public, but it's not being played out in the locker room. You know what I mean? Because they're not there. And so the opportunity for, I don't know, let's say Brian Burns to go up to Dex and be like, bro, what the hell is going on? Like, it doesn't happen.
Right.
So maybe if they have a close relationship, you'll get it via text message, but it's not this uncomfortable in-person, dude, you're trying to get out of here? Like, that doesn't happen anymore. And so I think the dynamic is truly just between the negotiating parties, like the proxies, the agent and the general manager. And hopefully it gets resolved before they actually have to see their teammates again. You know what I mean? I think that's the idea of making it pressure-filled like it feels right now.
Ben is in Babylon. Hey, Ben.
Hey, guys, what's up?
What's up, man?
What's up?
Just want to bring something up. I'm not making a statement, more of a question. Who are the Mets playing tonight? The Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yes.
Now, I don't know where the Diamondbacks just came from, but I know that they're probably not used to playing in weather that's any bit uncomfortable. As a big Met fan and knowing that they missed the playoffs last year by a fraction of a game, I would like to go to a 7 o'clock game tonight and think that the Diamondbacks were against some more adversity because they don't want to be there in 50-degree weather, much less 30.
How about that?
Is that something that's been talked about?
That is a very interesting thought, and I didn't even give that any thought. I gave it the thought of just the fans and the environment. The Diamondbacks are coming from home, where obviously they play in a dome and the weather is controlled, and I would agree that Ketel Marte is going to look very uncomfortable in the cold weather today.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean he's going to go 0 for 5, obviously, but yes, it's not conditions you're necessarily used to.
Right.
I think that the Mets make this decision squarely on the fans, and they view it as, look, they're going to play in cold weather no matter what, and it probably isn't going to make much of a difference to the starting pitcher or their key players if it's 48 degrees at 5 o'clock or if it's 42 degrees at 9 o'clock. Either way, they're going to be uncomfortable and cold. It's an interesting point, but I don't think the Mets are viewing it that way. They're viewing it strictly as what's the better experience for their consumers, for their fans. And from a competitive standpoint, I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference because it's going to be cold as balls either way.
Yeah, whether it's early or late.
Yeah.
And Arizona's going to have to deal with it.
But how about that thought?
Yeah.
That is a good thought,
Balls
though.
usually warm, by the way.
What was that?
Balls usually warm.
Oh, what did I say?
Cold as.
Yeah, but I think you can use that to describe anything. Like anything could be as balls. It really, it's universal.
Look at you being all young and hip.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying. I don't think I'm young and hip. I just think that's the way you can use the word.
Evan, you're as cool as balls, man.
I don't know if I like that. Anthony's in Middletown. Hey, Anthony.
Hey, what's going on? I really don't understand these people saying to trade Dexter Lawrence. It just makes no sense to me. Like, we have a rookie quarterback on a rookie contract. This is the time where you pay players. You don't let one of your best players walk out the door. And all these people saying that we should trade him, these are all the same people that are probably saying, oh, they let Julian Love go, Leonard Williams, Xavier McKinney. Like, we don't want to let another great player leave this building. Just pay him. He's the 12th highest paid defensive tackle. Like, we're getting a bargain there. Make him like the 6th highest. It's not going to break the books. And I don't know about an extension, but just give him a raise or something.
Yeah.
You're making a problem already worse trading him.
Look,
it doesn't make sense to me at all.
the money is what it is. There are ways to do this. We talk about this all the time. The fungibility of the cap. Kirk Cousins signed $70 million deal that's really only like $20 million. Like, there's ways to do it. It's just a matter of the Giants being motivated to do it, and then also if it motivates Dexter Lawrence. And if it does, then everybody wins.
He makes a very good point about the way fans are, that the fans who are saying trade him are probably, some of them, not all of them, are the same ones who cried and whined about all the players that were good, that were developed here, went elsewhere and won.
Yeah.
Here's the difference, and I think there's two differences, and we kind of attacked this earlier on in the show at about 10 a.m. if you rewind on the Odyssey app. Number one, Dexter Lawrence just isn't beloved the way Saquon Barkley was.
Right.
And maybe it's the position they play. Maybe that has a lot to do with it. The jersey sales, whatever it is. He doesn't have that same attachment to young fans the way Saquon did and even Odell Beckham Jr. did. The second part, and this is the key, everything about the Giants' perception has changed. Everything. John Harbaugh changes everything. So if this was still Brian Daboll and Joe Shane, you're right. Our last caller's spot on. We'd have people say, you're going to let another talented guy go? Yeah. Another guy's going to go? And watch, he'll go win a Super Bowl, and we suck. That's different now.
Right.
People aren't viewing it that way because John Harbaugh's in town. And it will remain that way until John proves he isn't worth that praise, which means he loses a lot of games. And then, yes, this town, which is a tough town, a fair town, and the greatest town in the world,
the Giants stink.
They will turn on them as fast as they turn for John Harbaugh.
Right. That's how it works. It's a bottom line town. And especially if your expectation – with Dave's, it was unknown. I think even Pat Shurmur, McAdoo, all those, it was unknown. Joe Judge, we have no idea. Let's just really hope. That it's not just let's really hope. It's we expect now to be a good team and a successful one going forward, even if it takes a year or so to get this team up to the best in the NFC East or in the NFC or in the league.
Gary is in Syosset. How are we doing today, Gary?
Okay, Evan. How you doing? Hey, what's up, Tiki? Listen,
what's up, man?
I just give it to you guys from an ex-ball player's perspective. When I played, we're going back into the 1960s and 70s, I used to hate to play in cold weather. I'm a big Yankee fan. I'm also a Met fan. I grew up in Queens. Parents, grandparents grew up in the Bronx. Having said that, Cam Schlittler at 98 to 100, boring down on a hitter with wooden bats is not a pleasant thing. Very happy the Yankees kept that 7 o'clock start time and didn't succumb to the Mets doing the right thing by the fans. But I'm just going to let you know, this is how I felt initially when I heard it. I said, hey, that's a good move.
You're doubling up on our last caller's point about the Mets, which is, hey, the Diamondbacks are a warm weather team. Are we giving away an advantage by moving the game into 4 o'clock? I don't think you are. But Cam Schlittler in 38-degree weather is probably a tad bit more difficult than Cam Schlittler in 45-degree weather, though I will say he's difficult to hit in any weather.
Yeah, I understand what people are trying to say. This is not football with this. It's not as if the Mets and Yankees are made up of a bunch of guys who grew up in Minnesota ice fishing here either. I mean, this is,
Well, you know what the best counter is? And it's a rhetorical question. Hopefully you guys will give the best answer. Why do you think Francisco Lindor sucks in April?
Because it's cold.
There you go.
No, I can't imagine.
It's very possible. It is very, very possible that the reason Francisco Lindor, year after year after year, struggles in April is because he's called his home Cleveland, Ohio, and New York, New York, where the weather in April, let's be honest, most of the time sucks. So I'm not trying to make an excuse for Lindor. Look, he was just in San Francisco. The weather was fine. He was just in St. Louis. The weather is fine. You're right. We can find holes in the April point. Mm-hmm. But to Sean's point, the Mets are littered with guys who are not exactly cold weather ball players just because they happen to be on the Mets.
Well, and also it works for football because the players spend all week preparing for one game, practicing outside in the cold as opposed to their opponent. They're just playing games every day. Where are these practices happening?
No, it's batting practice.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, they don't practice.
Right.
I also don't think there's a big difference between 48-degree weather at 5 o'clock and 41-degree weather at 9 o'clock. Like, it's going to be cold either way. Mm-hmm. If you're not a warm weather ball player, and I use Ketel Marte as an example, I don't know why. Probably because I envision him with this ski mask on right now. Like, it's cold either way.
Yes.
But I like the fact that we have a Yankee fan and a Met fan thinking about the competitive advantages. And even though the Yankee fan took a shot at me 4 callers ago, took a shot at the Mets, what a brilliant idea. Did you hear what he laid out?
Yeah.
He said he got a free voucher to go to Citi Field because the Mets are handing out a few. Mm-hmm. It's also $5 Tuesday.
Yep.
Okay. So he's going to Citi Field at 4 o'clock.
Go get sauced.
Free ticket. Sauce it up. Then jump on the train to go to Yankee Stadium and, to his words, watch a real team. What a perfect Tuesday if you have I
Who's pitching today for the Mets?
Freddie Peralta. I think he's a pitcher. I think he's a major league pitcher. That's why taking the shots at the Mets starting pitcher, not exactly fair.
So 4 and the Yankees are at 7?
Yeah, you can do both.
Dude, you can get 5-hour Freddie and then get over to Schlittler.
Did you just call him 5-hour Freddie?
5-inning Freddie.
5-inning Freddie?
Yeah, I'm thinking of 5-hour inning.
Why aren't we calling Cam Schlittler 5-inning Cam? Yeah. I haven't seen him go deep into games yet. Yeah, and don't give me his pitch count excuse.
He's only in his second year.
I mean, went into the 7th.
There's years.
Did he
of-
go into the 7th in his last start?
Yes.
Damn it, my bad.
Yes, there's years of data.
Nah, I know.
On Freddie Peralta.
Cam's been great, and Freddie has been a 5-inning pitcher.
My point, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
My point is, you can go see an official game with Freddie Peralta and then go get Cam Schlittler.
You could actually, if you're really, really committed to this, and this is something I would do in my single days when I didn't have kids and a wife, you could go to 6 Yankee-Met games in the next 3 days. You got the 4 o'clock Met games today and tomorrow into the 7 o'clock Yankee games. And then on Thursday, you have a 1:35 Yankee game into a 7 o'clock Met game.
Could you imagine what your ears would feel like by night 2 at Yankee Stadium with that sound? You have to go into Citi Field as well.
Oh, you'd be deaf.
Yeah, you'd be done.
I'm curious if anybody's out there is trying to get, and look, all 6 may seem a little bit aggressive. If you get to 4 out of the 6, 5 out of the 6.
But you got to believe there's some media members that do this.
You think so?
Definitely, right?
They don't work hard. What are you talking about? I'm just kidding.
There has to be.
You think Joel Sherman's doing this?
I don't know. I don't know who it is, but there's got to be somebody who covers both that actually does both.
That'd be very, very impressive to be able to pull that off.
And
And
I wonder. Now I got to think
Might
about
be a
this.
columnist that does it.
You think so? Think Mike Vaccaro would do it? Mike's going to join us on Thursday to talk about his awesome book.
Maybe.
Yeah. Damn it, I'm so jealous thinking about this. Would you do that with me, Sean, if you had no commitments? We both have commitments. We're not doing it. I
Yes.
understand.
If I have no commitments,
Your family is finally back?
Yeah, my family's back.
Yeah, you got to have to see them after not seeing them for 2 months.
I wasn't even considering going to these
You know what
games.
Evan's thinking? Why couldn't they have been away this week?
I did think that.
Well, no, it was better because last week was opening day.
It was, but I was going to go to opening day either way.
Yeah, that's
This
true.
week, Sean's right. This week would have been a better week for them to go away.
Right.
Because I would.
Because they're both here. Both teams are here.
And
right.
also, I miss them so much. I like to keep myself busy. That's the other excuse. I would have hit all these games.
Yeah.
I would have totally done it, Sean. And I would have totally peer pressured both of you to join me. And Tiki would have been like, well, maybe the Cadillac Club for 2.5 innings.
Yeah.
And Sean would have said, no, I'm a good father.
It's Tiki's birthday. He doesn't need to be at both City and Yankee Stadium.
You wouldn't do that on your birthday?
I mean, why not?
Yeah. Why not?
Okay.
I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, all right, so better answer.
It's all a hypothetical. We'll come back with more of your calls at 888-808-1019 and a brand new edition of Posted and Toasted, the ever-popular game, which is going on 3 years strong now. We'll get to that coming up, plus Connor Hughes will join us at 12 noon. Our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.
And this portion of the program is sponsored by Amazon Hub Delivery. It's also sponsored by the New Jersey Division of Highway Traffic Safety.
Hey, business owners, it's Tiki Barber. Are you looking to earn extra money? Of course you are. When your business partners with Amazon Hub Delivery, you simply drop off packages to Amazon customers in your neighborhood. Get started at Amazon.com/Hub Delivery.
Texting and driving? Big risk, big consequences. You risk traffic tickets, fines, and if you crash and injure someone, you could even go to prison. Pay attention or pay the price. Brought to you by the New Jersey Division of Highway Traffic Safety.
At Northwell's Cardiovascular Institute, there's no heart condition too complex for the most experienced team in the tri-state area, with the nation's highest cardiac success rates. It's why others trust us to help treat their patients with the most challenging conditions. And with hundreds of cardiac experts working together across Northwell, we're making untreatable a thing of the past. Visit northwell.edu/limitlessheart. Northwell. Raise health.
At Nielsen, fun is in the driver's seat. Get in on the savings fun now at Nielsen Dodge during our lease pull-ahead event.
Get out of your current lease early and get into a new vehicle.
Don't wait for your lease to end. Upgrade now. We have hundreds of new Jeeps, Chryslers, Dodges, and Rams to choose from.
There's 0% financing available, 0 security deposit for qualified buyers with 0 down payment available.
Lease a new 2026 Jeep Wrangler 4-door Sport S 4x4, just $259 a month.
Or choose from hundreds of quality certified pre-owned vehicles.
End your lease early and upgrade today.
So get out of the old and into the new.
On Route 10 in East Hanover. Online at NielsenDodge.com.
At Nielsen Dodge, fun is in the driver's seat.
Declaration of Deals sales event. With approval term 24 months, due at sign 8104, at tax tag 498, doc fee and DMV fees. See dealer for details.
Aetna was there for me as I was going through a rough medical patch this year. I had peace of mind, which helped with my healing.
Those words from a real Aetna Medicare Advantage member speak to why U.S. News & World Report named us a Best Medicare Advantage company. Because we show up on calls with members and doctors' offices when requested. We show up with the latest in online tools for easier access to healthcare. We show up for you. Because that's how healthier happens together. Member feedback has been edited for length and clarity.
Boomer and Geo is presented by FanDuel. And you know how much we love golf? Well, FanDuel has your back with a special Mulligan bet back token this week in golf. Once the tournament starts, you can turn any losing bet into a bonus bet for another try. Now you've got protection to take that sleeper pick or make a bold prediction. Backing someone to win it all? Go for it. Like someone for a top 5 finish? Lock it in with confidence, because if it does hit, you've got that mulligan in your back pocket ready to go. Just visit FanDuel.com/New York to claim your special mulligan bet back token. We all love the app around here. It is safe and secure. When you win, you get paid instantly. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of WFAN.
21 and over and physically present in New York. Opt-in required. Refund issues non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max refund $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with the gambling problem, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Where you learn matters. At Monmouth University, students study on a vibrant coastal campus with direct access to research, culture, and industry. From classrooms to competition, from creativity to career prep, Monmouth offers a vantage point shaped by location and purpose, blending a personalized learning experience with Division I pride and a rising national profile. Bigger thinking, more inspired. You amplified. Amplify your future at Monmouth University. Learn more at monmouth.edu/amplified.
Listen to MLB Insider Calls on WFAN all season long. Presented by Grainger. For the ones who get it done, Grainger offers the professional-grade products you need, delivered when and where you need them. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
ServPro. Cleaning, restoration, construction. Like it never happened. Call 1-800-ServPro.
Hey, it's Tiki Barber with a special message for New York businesses looking to diversify your income. Amazon Hub Delivery is making it easy to earn extra money. When you partner with Amazon Hub Delivery, you and your staff will deliver packages to customers in your area. With each package delivered, you'll gain extra income and exposure for your business. There's no upfront cost, no delivery experience, and no long-term contracts required. Sign up to learn more at Amazon.com/Hub Delivery. That's Amazon.com/HUB Delivery.
The most important meal of the day just got better at Dunkin'. Now you can get a medium hot or iced coffee, 6 crispy hash browns, and a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich, all for $6. That's a full breakfast meal for $6. 6 crispy golden hash browns, a warm, delicious bacon, egg, and cheese, and a medium coffee to start your day off right. Do breakfast the Dunkin' way or order Dunkin's $6 meal deal. No substitutions, participation times may vary. Limited time offer cannot be combined with other offers. Exclusions and terms apply.
Hey fans, come out to Yankee Stadium on Friday, April 17th when the Yankees host the Royals, and be ready to receive a Yankees promotional giveaway that has become a fan favorite. It's Yankees Hockey Jersey Night, presented by StubHub. The first 18,000 guests in attendance will receive a Yankees hockey jersey. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com/tickets. Again, don't miss the Yankees and Royals for Yankees Hockey Jersey Night, presented by StubHub on Friday, April 17th. Visit Yankees.com/tickets today.
Looking for the lowest price on name brand tires? Get to Town Fair Tire and get the guaranteed lowest price on any name brand tire. Nobody beats a Town Fair Tire deal. Nobody.
Attention.
Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-894-7722. That's 800-894-7722. Again, 800-894-7722.
Get connected with WFAN to talk about your favorite teams. The Fan on the Odyssey, iHeart, and TuneIn apps.
This Fan Focus is sponsored by Chef IQ Precision Cooking, effortless results, chefiq.com. Couple NBA notes. Last night, Victor Wembanyama got injured in the ribs. He'll likely enter the playoffs banged up. In that win over the 76ers, he had a collision with Paul George. Not a good sign.
He tried to come back in the game, and then left after halftime.
Yeah,
that's not good.
And the Grizzlies, how about this? Tiki will love this. Tied an NBA record making 29 three-pointers last night, but still lost by 16 points to the Cavs.
Yes.
What? Yes, and this Fan Focus was sponsored by Town Fair Tire. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.
That's just an indifference to defense.
Yes, and there was no James Harden in that game and no Donovan Mitchell in that game, and they lost to Cleveland. Yeah. You had a decent night of NBA action along with the national championship game, where congratulations to Michigan winning the national championship as they defeat UConn. It is time for another edition of Posted and Toasted.
It's time for Posted and Toasted.
Posted and toasted in 1, 2, 3. Posted and toasted where Evan finds the treats. Posted and toasted will Tiki guess them right. It's posted and toasted time.
Damn right it is. Posted and Toasted is brought to you by the Rothenberg Law Firm. Injured, visit injurylawyer.com, and Princeton Longevity Center. Experience the power of personalized medicine. So here are the old tweets. Tiki will guess which of our FAN coworkers posted this. Are you ready?
I am.
October 2nd, 2024. In what universe is Dexter Lawrence getting traded? Did somebody catfish people in Minnesota? You guys got duped by somebody. Is that person Evan Roberts, Greg Giannotti, Sean Morash?
Oh, maybe Greg Gio.
Or Tommy Lugauer?
Tommy wouldn't have referenced many.
He wouldn't have been
Gio might have referenced. I'm going to say it was Sean.
I'm a fat
you
moron.
You're correct. You remember that, Sean?
Absolutely. There was some weirdo Minnesota.
Why Minnesota?
So some weird Minnesota Vikings podcast claimed they had insider info that at the trade deadline they were getting Dexter Lawrence, and the Giants were getting a 4th-round pick.
Oh, I actually remember
And
this.
it took off like wildfire in Minnesota, and it was we're going to steal Dexter Lawrence, and everybody was just here going,
remember that.
What?
Yeah, you're out of your mind.
Yeah, and it was a price that made no sense
And this
anyway.
is when he was great.
Yeah.
And it's all right, are you giving us 2 first-rounders? And the answer was no. It's you're blowing smoke.
A long snapper and a 4th-rounder? What?
Wouldn't it be funny if after all these years he ends up in Minnesota? Perfect symmetry?
Yeah, by the way, times change, though, Evan.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not mocking you. I'm not saying you're being toasted for that post. I'm merely saying, wouldn't it be funny if he ends up in Minnesota? Minnesota! Where's that drop? You lose that one?
Did you lose that one?
I don't have that. I don't have access to that. If you search it, forget it. Don't worry about it. All right, here's post number 2. This is from October 1st, 2015. Ref Snyder and Bird and Severino. The Yankees are going to be fun for the next 15 years.
Sean Morash, Tiki, I'll help you out.
Was it really?
I'm a fat moron.
You might be. After that one.
Why wouldn't you let him guess? Why are you jumping down his throat?
I'm going to own it ahead of time, Evan.
I was going to say Big Mac. He was probably going to say Big Mac. I was going to say Keith McPherson. There was a chance he was going to say McPherson.
Say it again.
Ref Snyder and Bird and Severino. The Yankees are going to be fun for the next 15 years.
No mention of Aaron Judge.
Be a man. Well, this is 2015. Aaron Judge isn't around.
Yeah, good point.
I just don't understand why you needed to jump on that. There's a chance he would have said Big Mac.
That was a decade ago?
That was a decade ago, yeah.
More.
That was during, I guess, their run-up to their wild card game against the Houston Astros.
Wow.
Which, ironically, Sean and I talked about that game before the show because he told me he was working nights during that game, and he thought about actually killing Bob Husler because Bob was so, mocking the Yankee fan for that loss.
It's a rough
and
night.
Sean was taking it very serious.
Yeah, by the way, happy birthday. That was my birthday present to you. I didn't let you stumble over that.
Yeah, thank you.
What? Would you have guessed Big Mac? Probably.
It was Chris McMonaco, his fat ass.
I don't know. I think I probably would have said Sean.
You would have said Sean?
Yeah.
All right. Damn it. All right, we got
Sean has this sense of humor that you can hear sometimes. Often you need to hear his actual words, but sometimes you can hear it in text. And so I think I would have gotten that one.
All right. Fair enough. Here's post number 3. This is from February 28th, 2014. I just saw Superman in a cab. That's how cold it is.
What?
Is that person Al Dukes?
That's Al Dukes.
Greg Giannotti, Tommy Lugauer, or Sean Morash?
That's Al Dukes.
You going with Al Dukes?
Yeah.
Hold on one second. Got to find my button real quick. Because guess what?
You're wrong.
What? It is not Al Dukes. It's not Al Dukes.
Tommy?
Tommy Lugauer. No, Biggie. You are correct.
Tommy.
I don't understand the joke.
I don't
Explain it.
either. Unless it was literal. I'm being serious.
He literally saw Superman in a cab.
Yeah, who is the actor?
Which one?
Henry Cavill.
You're looking the wrong way, man.
Right, I think that's.
I mean, it could be Christopher Reeve. Unfortunately, he's not with us. He was Superman.
Tommy would never have seen him because he was paralyzed by then.
Yeah.
It happened down in
you're
Charlottesville.
saying he actually saw the guy who played Superman.
I'm saying it was literal. Like he literally saw whoever the actor is that plays Superman in a cab.
I will tell you the funniest part about this old post from Tommy. So this was before he was popular. So he only has one response. One person responded to him. The response says, quote, sorry, hold on. The one response says, I think the ecstasy is finally affecting your brain.
What month was this?
No biggie. February 28th, 2014.
And who was it that responded that way?
Matt MJ84 Matt.
So
I don't know.
I wonder if that's a friend.
Oh, somebody he knows?
Yes.
Good college friend?
I don't know, man. That is I don't understand the joke.
I guess because Superman flies everywhere.
Unless it's literal. I don't get it either.
I think I'm getting it.
Why?
Superman flies everywhere to go save it. It's so cold he doesn't want to fly through the air. He's going to take a cab wherever he's got to go.
That is a...
It's a well, listen, Tommy in a sense of humor.
No biggie. That's a long way to get to a joke.
Yeah.
Anyhow, here's our...
I still don't see it. It's not funny.
Well, no one said it was funny.
Right.
Here's our final post from April 7th. Not sure when it started, but I love assigned seats at movie theaters. I love assigned seats at
What
movie
year?
theaters. Believe it or not, this is from today.
No.
Yeah, this is a tweet. This is our first ever posted and toasted from today, 2026. Again,
Wait, hold on. It's 11:42 in the morning.
I understand. It was, I'm just saying.
I was going to say, because that would sound like something I would say.
Well, guess what? You're an option, but I guess you know that you didn't tweet today.
Of course I didn't tweet
Is the person.
Because I tweeted one time in the last 3 years.
That's true.
And it was on the show. It was because of the show.
It was a poll, yes.
It was a poll.
And is that person Al Dukes, Greg Giannotti, Evan Roberts, or Keith McPherson? Tiki Barber.
I want to say Al Dukes.
You're wrong.
McPherson?
You're wrong.
No idea.
You have a guess there, Sean?
I missed the first two you said. I thought it was going to be Keith.
You thought it was Keith? The answer is
Evan Roberts.
What? That was me.
Today you tweeted that?
Yeah, actually, I just tweeted it 10 seconds ago. Because
oh, you're an ass.
Because I'm obsessed with the fact that we now have assigned seats at movie theaters, and I do actually think it's the greatest invention of all
By the
time.
way, because I remember the first time I went to a movie theater, and it was assigned seating.
Right.
And it was a nice movie theater. It was like churched up. It was new. You could get a beer. I was like, man, this is pretty cool.
When was that, by the way? Do you remember the year?
First time I went, I'm sure it was longer than this. It was probably like 8 years ago.
Okay. Because I've had this theory that this is a...
Brooklyn was a not a baby, but she was a toddler.
Gotcha, yeah.
And so it was cool that we knew we could sit right next to her and not have to, all right, you sit down there, I'll sit up here, packed theater. It was like dine-in.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
But now every theater does it. Any movie theater you go to, you buy the tickets ahead of time on your phone.
Yes.
And you pick a seat.
Yeah.
And at first, because I thought this was a post-pandemic thing, Now, maybe I wasn't going to movies enough or I don't remember it, but it feels like this is a post-pandemic thing where you pick your seats.
Right.
And maybe it had something to do with that. But what hit me this weekend about why it's the greatest invention of all time is I hate sitting through a half hour of trailers, especially with my kids, because they don't like it. And some of the movies, by the way, are also not for them.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know if I want them seeing this.
Right, you mean the trailers?
The trailers.
I 100%
Some of them are too scary. And
100%.
I don't want to deal with that. So my new strategy is get there 15 minutes after the movie's supposed to start. You'll get about 10 minutes of trailers.
Yep.
You're not late. And there you go.
And you're guaranteed your seat.
But that's the key. The reason we went to theaters early was probably to make sure we got the right seat. We need to be dead center.
Yeah.
We need to be 10 rows back. Now,
somebody's got to stand in line for the popcorn because the others have to mark off the seats.
Yes. It's gone. It's extinct. You don't have to do it anymore.
You have to bring a jacket to a movie in the summer just to hold a seat.
Yes. And then someone could easily pick up that jacket and move it to a different seat. You don't have control over it. So I know that in 2026, there's a lot of things that we long for the past on. This is one of the great decisions we have made as a culture. Buy your seat, like you're going to a sporting event. That this is your seat, your J1, your J2, your F7, your B3, like it's a bingo card. And you sit down and you can get the food and you can go to the bathroom and you could show up 15 minutes late and it is a no biggie situation. Probably my greatest tweet I've ever tweeted.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that you tweeted it to force it into Posted and Toasted just because you wanted to give an opinion on the show.
That's exactly what I did, yeah. That was
like
my
that
way of bringing it up as a subject, yeah.
I don't like that at all. A little lazy, if you ask me.
I had tweets. I just chose that would be my fifth and final one.
Yeah, but the chances of us of ever having like accidentally happened upon it were nil.
Well, that's not what the game is about.
No,
You happen to see a tweet.
Maybe.
It's you guessing which of the FAN
I'm assuming
coworkers-
we follow. Look, I don't look at Twitter, so whatever. But
so then what's
you follow all these people at some point.
Well, hold on a second. You negated your whole point. You just said, I don't actually look at Twitter.
Sean plays too.
Sean, have you ever gotten it right because you saw someone tweet it or because you guessed the personality of the peoples at this radio station?
There have been memorable I can't tell you, but I know a certain Al Dukes tweet you've said, for instance, where I'm like, I remember that tweet from Al. That was classic.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, because I pay attention.
So, new rule on Posted and Toasted, I cannot just tweet something to force it in as a subject.
Here's why I don't like it. You have this opinion. It's a good opinion. Tweet it when you leave the movie theater.
I forgot.
Like yesterday. Look at the Posted and Toasted I sent yesterday. I noticed something. I tweeted it immediately because I don't want to lose it.
I have no idea what tweet you tweeted yesterday. I don't follow it all the time, but you're right.
I'm going to tell you
Tell
right
the
now.
audience. Most people aren't even on Twitter.
Okay. Has anyone in the history of bicycles witnessed somebody doing a, quote, pop a wheelie and actually stopped and said, wow, that's awesome? Because yesterday I got in my car and I saw two kids near the train station doing pop a wheelies and I thought, what losers? And I said, why do people do this?
It used to be cool.
But was it ever cool? And that's the nature of Posted and Toasted, is it not, Evan? To make an observation on the spot, and it lives there forever.
Fair enough. New rule. I mean, I did tweet it. Like, it's out there in the stratosphere forever. New rule. Any tweet has to be within 12 hours of the actual segment.
I
Or
think
I
that's
should
fair.
say further away than 12 hours of the actual segment.
I agree.
All right.
Now let's play the game. Who's throwing out the first pitch at Citi Field tomorrow?
Is that a game?
Yeah, they've announced it.
Citi Field tomorrow.
Citi Field tomorrow. It's Mets Diamondbacks. It's a 4:00 game. It's someone in the news. It's someone kind of famous. It's probably not baseball related, so it's probably more entertainment
College
or
basketball,
news
maybe?
related. College basketball. We're not honoring Michigan, are we?
Celebrate St. John's.
No, it wouldn't be just
Why not?
UConn because of a good run. Not St. Joe. Rick Pitino's going to throw out the first pitch.
No, but maybe
Somebody has his
Zuby.
email open.
Zuby.
Wait, he knows? Who knows? I have no emails open.
Tiki, what do you have open?
I don't. I honestly.
Hold on, let me see what's going on over here.
My email is failing. My internet.
My
is,
email is failing.
He literally has blank screen.
it's a
Then you know what?
screen.
You're right track, man.
Zuby Ejiofor?
No, it's Dylan Darling has been announced to throw out the first
Wow.
pitch. Bells
So
is going to come out.
you were right on St. John's?
Yeah.
Good call by you. Now, does Dylan Darling do the doubleheader where he throws out the first pitch at the Met game and then the first pitch at the Yankee game?
Maybe. He's got bells.
So the question we have is, and I don't know how many people are going to be in the building at 4:00. When Dylan Darling hit the game-winning shot to advance St. John's to the Sweet 16, we had some fun with a John Rothstein tweet, speaking of Posted and Toasted,
Yeah.
where John said, he'll never have to buy a drink in New York City. And we kind of had fun with it, saying, hey, it was a great shot, but boy, if they get knocked out in the next round, is anyone really going to remember the Dylan Darling game winner?
Right.
Obviously, the Mets do, because he's throwing out the first pitch. But does the crowd give like a big reaction?
Are they going to fully know who he is?
Or is the crowd going to assume it's Ron Darling's son?
Oh, good question.
I mean, it's a Darling.
Very. Well, they'll explain it. They'll explain
And
it.
they'll play the highlight, I assume, as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll ease it a little bit.
That'll make it memorable. Oh, yeah, I remember that kid.
So the Yankees should one-up it by just having Rick throw out the first pitch that night.
I'm tempted to go and boo him. He did not do enough as far as I'm concerned.
Because he put up an air ball at the end of the
Because they ran the same play with a completely different result.
You're such a bad guy that you would go there and boo him.
I'm just kidding.
I think maybe St. John's, even though Rick Pitino's a Yankee fan, St. John's is Queens' team. So maybe there's just more of a kind of like
he's probably a Met fan then.
Dylan Darling?
Yeah.
Is he even from Queens? He's not from Queens.
No, but he's been there for 43 years, right?
Just because you're at Jamaica and you're in Jamaica for a few years doesn't make you a Met fan.
Why you're close? You can hear it.
Where is Dylan Darling from? Do we know?
I have no idea.
Dylan Darling.
Well, his dad was a football player. He played for the Eagles, right?
Dylan Darling, he grew up in, you ready for this? If I asked you to name where he's from and I gave you 10 guesses, you wouldn't come up with it. Dylan Darling grew up in Spokane, Washington.
Oh, no. I never would have gotten that.
And then he went to 3 schools before getting to St. John's: Washington State, Idaho State, and St. John's. So you talk about a guy who has zero connection to the Mets other than the last year he has spent in Queens.
Last month that we know who he is. Unless you're a St. John's fan.
Right.
But I guess there's St. John fans who are going to really appreciate that he's throwing out the first pitch.
Absolutely. I think you appreciate that game-winning shot. I think that game-winning shot lives somewhere in history. I just don't think it lives in the history that John Rothstein described of never having to buy a drink. In fact, I heard the Mets are charging him $8.50 to get it. They're not even giving it to him.
By the way, our internet is down. That's why I have Blake's screen.
Oh, sorry about that.
It's all good.
Good. You can't look stuff up. I
really
appreciate
can't.
that. Let's go to Milo in upstate New York. What's up, Milo?
Hi, I just want to talk about Dexter Lawrence real quick. I think that Dexter and his agent kind of put themselves in a corner here because they waited so long into the off season.
Right.
Where if they maybe did this into early free agency, they could have gotten the trade and gotten the bag for him. I think that it kind of puts all the leverage with the Giants, and Dexter doesn't really get anything from this other than hopefully some money.
Well, I mean, he'll get grief from the fan base. He'll get grief from media members who don't necessarily agree with the way that he's approaching this. But there is a benefit sometimes to getting a deal done and then trading a player. I mean, let's if we remember correctly, this is what happened with Odell. He signed a deal with the Giants.
And look at the Jets with Sauce.
Right, and then the Giants traded him.
Yep.
Same thing happened with Sauce Gardner last year. He signed a deal. And Darren Muji, he know in some part of his brain, he had to realize that was an option. And once you sign a guy to a long-term deal, and you now, as the signing teams, in this case the Jets talking about Sauce, or if we're talking about Dex, would be the Giants, you take on the burden of the prorated guaranteed money. It's easier to trade him because now the team that's acquiring him doesn't have to worry about all this prorated money over the next 3 or 4 years. And so it makes it easy. You take on a financial burden that the new acquiring team doesn't have to worry about.
Would he have been better off? It's a great question, though. Would he have been better off demanding this trade before free agency when more teams were flush with cap space?
I think so. Well, not even cap space. It's they hadn't filled the holes.
Right.
And so we need a D tackle. We're either going to draft one or let's look at the free agency market. Oh, we can get Dexter Lawrence in a trade and we can give up, a position in the draft where we likely would have taken a D tackle. Let's do that instead.
Yeah. So what's the strategy behind doing it right now? If you're Dexter,
it almost makes it, as he was talking that last caller, it made me almost start to speculate. Did something happen?
Yeah, maybe.
Did something come to a head that we're just not aware of?
That's a good question. John Harbaugh will meet the media in a little over an hour, so we'll let you hear what he has to say about the Dexter situation. Limo driver Ed, what's going on? LDE.
Hey, guys. How y'all doing today?
What's up?
Good, man.
Hey, listen, everybody's up here crying about the weather. Listen, I worked 40 years for Comcast in the city. I was a line tech. I was up there in the air splicing for hours. You know what? Listen, hundreds of years we've been playing baseball in cold weather.
Right.
I don't want to hear this little baby stuff. Are you kidding me? Throw a couple pairs of long johns on, some hoodies, and you're good to go.
Yeah, you tell him.
Just stop. It makes no sense at all. On that note, but listen, like I said about my Mets, remember, not the Mets, my Knicks. I told you guys, I told everybody just to RELAX. Relax.
Yeah.
We got it.
Well, I don't know if you have it, right? Because I don't know what have it means. But relax over an up and down regular season. You're right. I've tried to follow the same suit, which is it's a long season. We're not learning everything about this team through an 82 regular season.
Right.
82 regular game season.
Right.
And so there are going to be ups. Last night was an up. There are going to be downs.
Right.
This all matters a week from Saturday. Because a week from Saturday, we'll know who the opponent is. It's a best-of-7 series, and the Knicks have distinct advantages over any team they face in the first round. And that advantage is they have a closer. And they not only have a closer, you have statistically one of the best closers in the sport over the last few months, which is why I may not be brimming with confidence that they're going to win an NBA championship or brimming with confidence they're going to get through the Eastern Conference. But unlike Sean Morash, who told a lie to the audience yesterday saying the Knicks have a 0% chance of winning an NBA title, the Knicks have a puncher's chance. They absolutely do. And I think when you see Jalen do the kinds of things he did last night, and even the small things like the chemistry between him and Kat last night, it's a reminder that they have a shot. Am I going to bet the farm on it? Absolutely not.
Right.
They have a lot of flaws too, but they have a shot. Connor Hughes will join us in a couple of minutes. He'll give us the latest on Dexter Lawrence, what the Giants are thinking about doing at 5. And even the Jets, are they flip-flopping on what we all thought they were going to do at 2? We'll address it coming up. Spring is the perfect time to refresh your home, and Window-Rama is making it easier than ever during their spring refresh sale. Save up to 30% on your window and door project, plus take advantage of low to no interest payment plans when you purchase and install with Window-Rama. It's simple. Book your free in-home consultation, shop from home, and let their local certified experts handle measurement and installation. Visit WindowRama.com to book your free in-home consultation today.
With the warm months just about here, it's time for a healthier you. My good buddy John Gallucci Jr., CEO of JAG Physical Therapy, always tells me how important it is to focus on your biomechanical chain to reduce injuries. Well, now is the time for you and your loved ones to turn to JAG to get stronger and function at a higher level. The dedicated team of physical therapists at JAG Physical Therapy will develop a plan specifically for you to help prevent injuries. And if you have an existing injury, their expertise and commitment will help you get back to the life you love. Schedule your appointment today at jagpt.com. That's JAGPT.com.
This is an Odyssey Sports Minute.
I like North Carolina basketball's hire of former Nuggets head coach and NBA champion Michael Malone to be the program's next head coach. College basketball increasingly becoming like a pro sport, so hiring a former NBA coach makes sense. And if North Carolina is willing to spend money, I think Carolina can be better than Duke next year. Which coach would you rather have at the end of a close game, Malone or John Shire? I'm Nick Costos.
Furnished by IntelliBrands.
Have you ever felt leg pain, restlessness, cramps, tingling, swelling, numbness, itchiness, or coldness? Then you need the new patented Legsercise Pro, the natural circulation booster that uses continuous automatic leg movement to soothe pain and promote healthy circulation the natural, drug-free way.
Using Legsercise made walking painless again.
Legsercise Pro's patented walking simulator propulsion technology moves your feet back and forth along its concave track, creating constant movement and flex at both the knee and ankle joints. It's like having a physical therapist right in your own home.
I have much less swelling and no more tingling.
Call right now and order your very own Legsercise Pro, the new proven automatic leg mover that soothes pain and naturally promotes healthy circulation. Call 800-555-1212. That's 800-555-1212. 800-555-1212 now.
These statements and products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
How do airplanes fly? What's in this box? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Learn how to store your gun securely and make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast.
Pump up the volume.
When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Clouds and sun, windy, high 53.
Weather brought to you by Staples. From posters and presentations to labels and loyalty cards, Staples has all the print to boost your brand. Shop now in-store and online. Staples. That was easy.
Hello, New York, New Jersey. Bank of America, in partnership with Visa, invites you to a FIFA World Cup 26 watch party. Open an eligible Bank of America checking account in participating financial centers only for an opportunity to reserve 2 complimentary tickets while supplies last. Experience special musical guests, games, giveaways, food, and more, all at a legendary venue. Learn more at BofA.com/BofA Visa Watch Party. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 26. Bank of America N.A. member FDIC. Terms apply. All rights reserved.
Batteries Plus presents Power Ballads.
If you run a business in any industry, the last thing you need is some dead batteries. We got them in stock, and we're local too. We dream about batteries more than most people do. Batteries Plus, there's no problem too large. Batteries Plus, we're the experts in charge.
When fighting lymphoma, leukemia, or myeloma, the right care team makes a difference. Hi, I'm Dr. Michelle Donato, Chief of Stem Cell Transplantation and Cellular Therapy at Hackensack University Medical Center's John Thurg Cancer Center. As the state's largest and most experienced CAR T-cell program, we pioneer life-saving options that empower your immune system to fight cancer. For personalized care in Hackensack or Neptune, call 833-CANCER-MD.
This is Sal Licata. You definitely don't want your AC system to fail this summer. So call my friends at Edison Heating and Cooling, New Jersey's air conditioning experts. Have them check your cooling system now. I know Edison Heating and Cooling. They are the real deal. Go to EdisonHVAC.com.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
No one likes having to choose. That's why with America's best lineup of hybrids from Hyundai, you get the best of both worlds. Like the reliable and efficient Tucson Hybrid with America's best warranty. Or the stylish yet capable Santa Fe Hybrid with power to navigate the toughest terrain. It's like having your cake and eating it too. You know, if you could drive a cake. Hybrids from Hyundai. It's the best of both worlds. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Some days, self-care starts with Nature-Made gummy vitamins, a deep breath, and a little encouragement.
Mom, I'm really nervous.
Me too, honey, but we've got this. Repeat after me. I'm gonna have a good day.
I'm going to have a good day.
I choose joy no matter what comes my way.
I bring joy wherever I go.
Quality gummy vitamins from Nature-Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
The Rico Brogna podcast on the Odyssey app is proudly sponsored by Mio Sparkling Sake, the official sake of the New York Mets.
Yeah.
Enjoy at Citi Field or your favorite spot. A new tradition in sake. Mio Sparkling Sake.
Talk sports after hours with Tommy Lugauer, 7 to midnight. WFAN, WFAN FM, WFAN FM HD1 New York, and Odyssey Sports Station.
Why I woke up this morning and I'm a little bit more concerned about Juan Soto than I was yesterday. We'll get to it a little bit later on, plus more of your calls at 888-808-1019. But obviously one of the big stories today, we opened with it all the way back at 10 a.m. if you rewind on the Odyssey app, is the Dexter Lawrence situation. So let's get the window seat on what's going to happen with Dexter. And today's window seat is brought to you by Windorama. Save up to 30% on new windows and doors. And the best person to try to help us figure this whole situation out, plus more around the NFL, is the great Connor Hughes, who does a fine job with SNY. Connor, how we doing today?
I was doing well until that Juan Soto teaser you just dropped.
Yeah.
I think let's table the DEX stuff, Evan. I want to know what the heck's wrong with Juan here.
He didn't want to listen to me about the soft tissue injury in his calf, and he said, he'll play on Tuesday.
Here's the bottom line.
And I said, he's going to be out for 2 weeks.
It's not him going on the IL, Connor, and I'll make this real quick. I started to do research on other calf injuries in Major League Baseball. And what I came up with is this ain't like some easy, we'll see in a week and a half, no biggie spot. These can be complicated. They can be tricky. They can be re-injured. In fact, just to be specific, one of his teammates he should ask about, Bo Bichette, had a calf issue back in 2024, and it kept reoccurring.
And I kept Connor bringing up his favorite players, Kevin Durant.
Well, that's basketball.
And Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers, the calf strain that turned into yeah.
Different sport, but yes, it can be concerning.
By the way, I don't wish that on Soto.
Thank you for that.
He's on my fantasy team.
That's the reason. What was your reaction? We were live on the air for it. What was your reaction to the news that Dexter Lawrence is very nicely asking to be traded away from the New York Giants?
Only surprised that he made it public, just because players request trades all the time. It just never gets out. Quinnen Williams was one last year that requested it 3 times from the Jets. He just didn't want it known publicly, because once you do that, it can put kind of a bad feeling within the locker room. It could have a bad feeling with the general manager, coaching staff, especially if you are not traded. If you're traded, it's fine, but if you request one, you're not traded, and you kept, all the players look at you and you're like, dude, what the heck? A.J. Brown and Philadelphia has requested a trade. I don't even know how many times from Philly. They keep it under wraps during the season, and then after the season, you kind of find out about this stuff. But so I was a little surprised with that, Evan, but it does make some sense when you look at it. I mean, this was a topic of conversation with Joe Shane at the Combine. And the big reason for it is that you have a guy in Dexter Lawrence who has watched teammates that he's loved leave and have immense success elsewhere, whether that's Leonard Williams and Julian Love with the Seattle Seahawks, Saquon Barkley with the Philadelphia Eagles. He's somebody who is absolutely underpaid now because of what has happened to the interior defensive line market. The Giants slapped a Band-Aid-ish on it, but I think it was like $3 million in guaranteed money, or not guaranteed money, but $3 million in incentives you could have earned last year based off of playing time. I think you got about $1 million of that, but this was always done with the thought process that, we're going to redo this deal. We're going to redo this deal. And now it's become pretty clear that the Giants are saying, whoa, we've got 2 years left on this deal. Lawrence wants to be repaid, especially after seeing guys like Jordan Davis get $27 million annually, and he's at 20. That it's just one of those things where it's like, look, if you're not going to pay me, and I'm not kind of sick and tired of losing, I'm not ready for this rebuild stuff we've been doing, get me out of here. And now it's just whether it's basically, are the Giants going to do it or not?
Right. So you mentioned this becoming public, and it almost feels like something happened. There was an impasse that was existing behind the scenes, meaning agent and general manager or whoever was negotiating this contract, and not necessarily a Dexter Lawrence, hey, this has to happen. Why did this become public? Because now it feels like there's pressure and there's opinions being generated all around him right now.
Well, the best way to describe it, Tiki, is that it amps up the pressure, because from a Dexter Lawrence perspective, it can be, look, if you're not going to pay me, then send me somewhere who is going to pay me. But if the Giants want to keep it under wraps, they can kind of control, I wouldn't say the narrative, but they can control the messaging that you can send to Dexter Lawrence and Dexter Lawrence's representatives. Like, look, the market's just not out there for you. Look, we're not getting the interest that we thought we were going to get, yada, yada, yada. The moment that this becomes public, that Adam Schefter tweets out there to millions and millions of people, hey, Dexter Lawrence wants out. If Joe Shane's phone wasn't really ringing, like he said, it apparently wasn't ringing at the NFL Combine, well, it's ringing now. Yeah. I mean, I talked to almost a dozen teams yesterday, and I didn't find one that didn't have some level of interest in Dexter Lawrence. Now, the interest there does vary, because there was one team I was talking to that was like, yeah, I'd love to have him for a 3rd-round pick. That's obviously not happening. So there's like varying degrees of how bad you want Dexter Lawrence. But this is just now one of those things where it ramps it up. And the Giants, look, I don't get the sense that they are shopping Dexter. I don't think they are going to get rid of Dexter for whatever their best offer is. This isn't one of those things, I don't think. My read on the situation is that, look, we want to keep Dexter. We want to try to figure this out. But if somebody makes us an offer we can't refuse, similar to what the Dallas Cowboys did with Quinnen Williams, or I know it's the team across town, the Indianapolis Colts did with Sauce Gardner, then yeah, the Giants are going to have a long conversation about whether or not Dexter Lawrence factors into their plans long term, or if they want to move him and get some of that compensation to continue to round out this roster.
We're trying to figure it out. We're guessing along. What is the market for him? You mentioned a bunch of teams that have interest. Yes. One team said for a third-round pick. How, hot do you think this market could get?
Yeah, again, that team for the third-round pick. Like I was like, dude, like, are we serious? Like, come on now, we're not doing this. He goes, well, my reasoning for it is that you got to pay him a new contract. As dominant as he has been, there are, I wouldn't say work ethic concerns, but there is a weight issue with him where he wasn't necessarily in the best shape last year. And then, look, Brian Daboll's, kind of luxurious and kick it back training camp didn't necessarily help Dexter play himself into shape. He basically had the whole summer off. But that's one of those things where, look, I'm not going to give up a first-round pick if I have these concerns with that. With that said, several of the other teams that I spoke to around the league, they made it clear that, that this is the value. And I heard a late 2026 first-round pick, a 2027 first. Now, this is separate offers. This is not all together. These are separate offers. But late pick this year, or 2027 first-round pick next year, or a second and then some. And the second and then some was actually something that was reiterated to me by 3 teams, and they actually compared it very similar to what the Giants gave up for Brian Burns from the Carolina Panthers. Burns, another player that maybe not as dominant as his position as Dexter Lawrence was and the interior of his, but you can make the argument that edge is more valuable than an interior defensive lineman. But that was a second-round pick and a fifth-round pick to the Panthers, knowing that you then had to also give Brian Burns a brand-new contract. So I think that's something the Giants are probably going to have. And then if you find a contending team that's a little bit desperate and really wants to beef up the interior of their line, that's when maybe you can get a late 2026 one.
Hey, before we move on to the draft, I'm really interested in 50 minutes when John Harbaugh has to start addressing this specific situation, because I was saying earlier on our show that one of the real tests of a head coach is how you manage the interpersonal stuff that's going on, and individually, but also as a team. But I think individually with Dex, how's he going to handle this? And I don't know if he's had a conversation with him. And so I think the John Harbaugh aspect of being a leader for this Giants team, especially with this going into the first day of whatever this officially is, OTAs or whatever, I think is one of the most interesting things that's going to happen in this early tenure for John Harbaugh.
I'm fascinated to see it as well. And again, I don't. Baltimore was such a unique situation and a unique and just a well-run organization that didn't feel like there were. I mean, there was the Lamar Jackson stuff, but you knew Lamar was never actually getting traded. Right. So I'm very curious to see how he's going to approach this and how he honestly says he feels about Dexter Lawrence. Now, I don't know John that well. Like, I've only covered him for a little bit, but I know from Denard Wilson, Denard's had many conversations with Dexter Lawrence. In fact, when Denard Wilson was named the Giants defensive coordinator, he was one of those guys that basically stood on the table and said, dude, I want this dude. I want this guy. I think he's a dog. I need dogs on my team. And I think he's somebody that's going to be unbelievable in our defense. And we're going to be able to maximize our defensive potential with him out there. I'm not saying that the Giants were open to trading Dexter Lawrence before they hired Denard. I'm not saying that this was a situation where, we didn't like him. Now our coordinator likes him. What we do. But if there was anyway, it's like, maybe we'll consider this. The way that Denard went to bat for him was like, all right, we're keeping Dexter Lawrence. And that's why at the NFL Combine, Harbaugh dumped water on it. Joe Shane dumped water on it. But now that Dexter, again, it takes 2 to dance here. It takes 2 to tango. And while the Giants and Denard might love to have Dexter back, if Dexter's like, dude, I want out of here, and you're trying to build in this new culture and establish a culture of guys who want this and want to win and want to be here, maybe it makes some sense to get as much as you can. But I think we're going to find out, like you said, a lot here in a few minutes when we talk to John virtually.
We're talking to Connor Hughes, obviously the Dexter Lawrence situation. You mentioned a little bit earlier that there were some teams that could have concerns about his weight and his work ethic. Mm-hmm. Did the Giants have those concerns?
Denard doesn't. So, I mean, from the guy who's going to be working with him directly, they do not. I mean, again, like, it's tough because you see guys show up to training camp out of shape all the time. That's not uncommon. They just then play themselves into shape and they're ready to go week one. I mean, that's totally, you used to see, dude, Darrelle Revis was the king of that. He wasn't wearing those big sweatpants in training camp and big hoodies in training camp because he wanted to look cool. Like, he was trying to shed some weight. Guys do it all the time. Right. I think what was interesting about Dexter is that, like, you're like, okay, this guy needs to play himself into shape. And then you saw, like, Daboll giving him 1 of every 4 series to work, or like just taking complete drills out. So it was almost like, dude, he might have gotten in worse shape after that training camp. Like, it was truly like a resort over there in East Rutherford for a bit. So I didn't get the sense the Giants are super, super concerned with that. But when you're talking about a situation now where you would be parting with a first-round pick or a second-round pick and then some premium draft assets, you want to have every I dotted and T crossed. You can look at the Max Crosby thing. They get a look at his knee. They're like, dude, this might be degenerative. What are we doing here with 2 first-round picks? Like, they didn't get the MRIs that they wanted or the tests that they wanted, the post-surgery. And they had, again, they looked at him like, dude, this isn't right. Like, we've got some problems here. We got to back out of this thing. So you want to make sure everything's okay before you part with that kind of compensation, which is why there's probably more concerns externally than internally.
There are 3 ways this could play out. They give him some extra money. They redo the deal. Dexter's happy. The Giants are happy. Kiss and make up. We're good to go. Option 2 is they can trade him. Option 3 is this can extend and get ugly, where they say you have a contract. He says, I want a new contract. Maybe there's a holdout, and this thing leaks into the summer. How do you see it playing out?
I don't see it leaking into the summer. This is a new regime. I know Joe Shane returns, but I mean, this is a new coaching staff. This is a new era under John Harbaugh. I think that they're going to want to nip this one in the bud pretty quick and want to just finish. They don't want the storylines, the headlines, every day of OTAs or minicamp being like, is Dexter here? When's Dexter here? Have you talked to Dexter? They're going to want some resolution, I would imagine, with this sooner rather than later. The direction that it goes, again, we have not talked to John yet. We're going to find out, I think, a lot. I don't expect him to say this is what we're doing, but you can tell by his tone and his attitude and his demeanor the direction that it is headed. From talking to people around the league not affiliated with the Giants, these are just sources around the NFL, even when they were talking about this is what his value is, this is the compensation, we'd be interested, we wouldn't be interested, they all came away with the feeling, or they believe that ultimately something gets done here with the Giants. That they do something to adjust the contract, fix the contract, and Dexter Lawrence stays with them. Now, that's not a sentiment shared by everybody. I know I had people being like, dude, this is a brand. John Harbaugh doesn't want this. Like, this is going to be a situation where John wants guys who want to be here, that are bought in, that are all in, and if he's not, boom, get him out there and get as many picks as you can. But the Giants don't have that many great interior defensive linemen, and Dexter is a major, major part of this defense. When he's not in there, you see what happens to the interior of the defense with people just running rampant up the middle. Not like there's a tremendous interior defensive lineman they could target at 5th overall to be, oh, bring this guy in there. We traded Dexter, got an extra one, and now look, we filled the void here. So I based off of the conversations I had, the feeling was that most likely something gets done, but I think that's where we are right now, and we're going to figure out a lot more once we talk.
So on a level 1 to 10 of a crisis, this is what, 4?
If it's because there's 2 different ways you can resolve this, I'd say it's probably more like a 5 or a 6. It's not like the DEFCON 1 sort of situation here, but it's something you want to take care of, because this isn't a disgruntled wide receiver. This isn't a disgruntled running back. This is a player who I'd say right now is probably the most respected player in the locker room. This is somebody that people look to. He's a leader. He's a captain. He's been there so long, like he's a homegrown talent, and he's somebody who has watched other people around the league get taken care of. And this is, again, if you're piggybacking off of how the negotiations went with Saquon Barkley, how they went with Xavier McKinney, how they went with Julian Love, how those things have gone under the tenure of where the Giants have tried to get deals done with their own, to now see this one and be like, oh yeah, now we're still going to keep stiff-arming this guy.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a super great look for the team or the organization if they don't fix this one quick.
All right. So the biggest conversation outside of Dexter that's been going on for the last month is, what are the Giants going to do at number 5? And the Julian Love, we've had this conversation before. Julian Love. Jeremiah Love, Julian. We're just talking about Julian Love. But Jeremiah
that was my bad. I'll take the blame for that, dude.
You got it ingrained in my head. The Jeremiah Love at 5, whether he's still there or not. But what is the likely draft, position that the Giants would be looking for at number 5? Because I feel it's defense and probably linebacker, maybe an offensive tackle we're starting to see in some of these mocks. But where do you think the Giants most likely are headed at number 5?
I think Sonny Styles or Jeremiah Love. If you put if you ask me today how I feel now the teams. We're now at the point where you're going to start to figure that out, because, again, the Giants are never going to tell people what they're thinking in the draft. But there are people around the NFL who are going to talk to people within the Giants building, and they're the ones who are going to see who the Giants are working with these pro days. And over these next couple of weeks is when that big board is going to get finalized, draft plans are going to be finalized, and you're going to start to get a clearer picture. And then once people start talking, that starts getting through the grapevine, and then as a reporter, you use your sources to figure out your people really around the league to tell you what you think the teams you're covering are going to do. So I'll have a much clearer understanding of that over the next week or 2 weeks, I'd say. But right now, based off of what I've heard and based off of the people I've talked to, I think it's probably going to be Sonny Styles or Jeremiah Love, one of those two. If Styles goes to the Cardinals at 4 or 3, if Sonny Styles goes, then I think the Giants go Love. I don't think the Titans take Jeremiah Love. I don't think that's something they're going to do with the holes that Robert Saleh and those guys got to fill. I don't think running back's really what they're going to target there. I think probably pass rusher, interior defensive line is probably more likely what they're going to do. But if Love is there, I think if Love and Styles are there, I'd probably lean a little bit right now towards Styles. But if Styles goes to Arizona and Love is there, I think the Giants take him. And I know people are going to go nuts over that because it's, Saquon, blah, yada, yada, yada. But we can argue that, dude. Like, that's a very valid argument that we can have at the moment. But the way the Giants address this situation, and we already heard it at the NFL's annual meeting, and it's kind of like their defense of the pick is already in place. They believe that this is a far different situation than when they took Saquon or when they didn't pay Saquon. Either of those two situations, because they have the young franchise quarterback, the number one wide receiver, an offensive line that's, while it's not elite and still has issues at right guard, they think they have an offensive line that's better now than it's been over the last 10 or so years for this team. So now they can take that luxury pick, non-premium position there to make a difference on their offense. And one more thing on this, they were willing to pay Kenneth Walker, dude. Like, they were willing to go up to $13+ million annually for Kenneth Walker. If you're willing to pay big money on a running back in free agency, what you don't get in free agency, you usually circle back and try to get in the draft, which would be Love.
There's a term for this because Sean, who we love Sean Morash, but he's suffering from PTSD. The Saquon Barkley cloud hangs over them. But I'm curious about one other name because I think Peter Schrager brought it up the other day as a name he's hearing, and that's Francis Mauigoa, the tackle. Now, if the Giants take him at 5, which he's thinking, hey, that's a possibility, I would assume that they're moving him to guard since Illuminor and Andrew Thomas are set at tackle. So a couple things. Are you hearing any buzz about Mauigoa to the Giants, and what's your kind of thought on them doing that at 5?
Nothing yet, and I'm not throwing any water on what I think you said. Schrager mocked him to him. I think Peter did it. So like, I'm not throwing any water on that at all. Like I haven't heard it more because I just haven't been asking about him that much. So it's one of those things. Like, again, these next 2 weeks are when you're really going to find it out, because this is when now, like yesterday, Joe Shane was in draft meetings with the entire coaching staff. So that's where like you're starting to have everything pieced together of what you guys want to do. So once those little nuggets start getting out there and everyone talks around the NFL, it's just a giant gossip circle. And you trust the people that you know, that's when you figure it out. I don't think I'd hate it. I don't love it. I mean, I don't love a guard top 5, but I mean, you can make the same argument about a linebacker or a running back. So if you think this is going to put you in a position, like I just don't love that. But like, if you think that this is going to build a wall in front of Jackson Dart, where you now know, look, Andrew Thomas, dude, we're good. Jermaine Illuminor, we're good. Now we've got a guy who's a top 5 potential at guard that we're there. John Michael Schmitz should be better now that he's protected both by him and outside. And then the John Runyon situation, look, if he's your worst offensive lineman, that's not the worst situation to be in. The one thing I also kind of do like about that pick is that Andrew Thomas, when he is on the field, is an unbelievable football player. Like one of the top 3 to 5, maybe even top 2, maybe even 1 best offensive tackles in the NFL. He is that good. Like, as dominant force, no, but he's just shuts people down. Like, he's just unbelievable. There are major durability concerns there. And we've seen what happens when Andrew Thomas goes down, what this offensive line looks like, what happens. So you hope he's going to stay healthy and these injuries are a thing of the past. But if the foot acts up again, or a hamstring or an ankle or something else with Andrew Thomas acts up, you now have an opportunity to take him, kick him outside the left tackle, bring in somebody else at guard, and now your offensive line, it's not as good as it obviously is with Andrew Thomas, but you've got kind of a pretty good insurance policy if injuries act up with him on that left side.
Yeah, no, it's interesting you bring that up because we know that John Harbaugh has made some changes in the staff, and that including the training staff. And I wonder, and again, I don't think you have an answer to this yet because we haven't seen these guys around the training staff yet. But I wonder if the process changes in managing some of these athletes who have been injury prone, who are great players, but just can't always be consistent on the field. I think after the first round, I mean, we get enamored with who the first round pick is going to be, but after that, where are the Giants targeting? Like, what do we look? Because we know where the needs are. Linebacker, you mentioned, safety as well potentially. Maybe another wide receiver, and every draft it feels like is deep with wide receivers. Like, what's happening after the first round for the New York Giants?
I like wideout. I mean, I think there's going to be guys there that trickle out of the first round where you can have some really good value there. I mean, I get Malik Neighbors as a star. You don't know what he's going to look like when he comes back. You don't know when he's going to be back. Like there are some major things there. And I mean, who are you going into the season then really believing after you lost Wandale Robinson? I know I like some of the veterans that they brought in on prove-it deals, but I know fans sometimes get fixated on like, oh my God, we got this guy for this price. Oh, this is incredible. Well, look, like there's 31 other teams in this league. If these players were worth more than that, they're probably these 31 other teams are going to give them a deal worth more than that. So it's I still look at receiver as a major need for this team. I look at corner as a major need for this team. So I think those are spots they could absolutely target. If they go with Jeremiah Love at 5, or they go with a Sonny Styles at 5, I could see him going interior offensive line at a much more reasonable spot in that second round. And now you're able to fill out that guard spot with somebody drafted at more of a normal position. So look, the Giants have pieces, but the Giants aren't like one piece away from contending. So this is still a situation where, as much as they liked their draft last year and they liked the draft the year before that, they still need to round out this team. And with Harbaugh now pretty much running the show there, this is a good opportunity to continue to infuse it with talent.
Talking to Connor Hughes with the Jets, is it safe to say it's a decision between Arvell Reese and David Bailey at 2?
Yeah, I'd be very surprised if it's not one of those two guys. And it's a fascinating conversation. I've heard it's actually, I know it's out now, but like I've heard a lot more Bailey recently than Reese. Now this is where it goes. Like you'll hear one name this way because they're talking about him, and then all of a sudden they're not this. So it's these again. I keep pointing to this, but the next 2 weeks is when you're going to figure it out. Like today, things are going to sound different than 2 weeks ago. I point to like the Jackson Dart stuff. You know, like when last year when the Giants drafted him, everyone was still Shador what. I think like 2 weeks before the draft was when I got wind, like, no, dude, it's Dart. Dart's their guy. And then like that's when you start to figure it out. So we're getting to the point where that stuff's going to get known. We're not there yet, though. So I have a feeling it's going to be Reese or Bailey. I tend to believe they probably would go with the more sure thing. I don't know if the Jets are in a position right now, considering how bad it's been, because Aaron Glenn's still on the hot seat and Darren Muji is on the hot seat going into this year. They're not going to survive another 4-win season. I don't know if they can necessarily bank at number 2 on the player with the most upside as much as the player with the higher floor. And I think that Bailey is the guy who has a little bit more of a higher floor, can go in there and just be a really, really good, potentially dominant player for them. When Reese, there's a little bit more hit or miss possibility there. And then the 16 spot, there's a number of different places they can go, man. They could look to trade down a little bit. I think receiver is probably the number one option where I could see them going there. It's just a matter of what happens if Lemon, Tyson, and Tate are all off the board. Like, do you really want to go with Cooper? Like, what do you want to do there? So, it's an interesting one.
Look, Connor, I think this might be just our interpretation as fans and, talk radio. It feels like, yes, Aaron Glenn is on the hot seat, but is Darren Muji on the hot seat? It feels like he's done a relatively decent job. I don't know anymore if GM head coach are tied in some places. I know a lot of places they're not. But are they tied in a sense here with the Jets?
It's a it's a very good question because it's a very unique situation because the Jets' power structure right now is Aaron Glenn, Darren Muji. And now what I've heard from talking to a couple people who have been involved in the Jets draft meetings this year, it's been a much more collaborative, open, healthy, back and forth dialogue conversation this year as opposed to last year. And I'm not saying it was combative last season or that, Aaron Glenn was saying, this is what we're doing, this is what we're not. But you have to remember, Glenn and Muji never worked together before.
Right.
Like this was it. Most people believe that, and I mean, they were literally tore. I talked to people who were in the Jets building when Lance Newmark was there for his second in-person interview. And they're basically showing like, hey, this will be your office. This is where the cafeteria was. It wasn't like they were going to the nitty gritty. And I think it kind of got down to the point where it's like, is this really the best we can do? And then Glenn was a huge proponent of Darren Muji because of their conversations over the years, but they never worked together. So that first year was kind of feeling each other out, feeling out the meeting room, the pre-draft process. It was very clear that Aaron Glenn was the alpha, like he was the one calling the shots. There was still communication, collaboration, but it was still, again, a figuring it out process. Now they've worked together over a year. Aaron knows Darren, Darren knows Aaron. There's a lot more input now from the scouts where it feels like it's a much more healthy thing, but still, it is Aaron Glenn as the alpha. Aaron Glenn still has the top say. There's been no change in the organizational power structure. It's still Glenn with Muji there. So if Glenn brought Muji there, and Glenn's the reason Muji's there, and Glenn is kind of technically ahead of Muji, you're really going to fire Glenn and then let Muji like
Yeah.
I could see it.
Yeah, I hear what
I
you're
could
saying.
see it.
Oh, I can definitely see it.
It's funky. I mean, we've seen it before. Like Joe Douglas was here because Adam Gase was there.
Exactly.
And they fired Adam and kept Joe. But like, Joe was ahead of Adam. Like Adam helped get him there, but Joe was still the boss.
Right.
So I think ultimately, if this goes south for the Jets this year, like if they're a 4-win team again, I think they might just pull the plug on it all, and Woody will just start from scratch again. But I think if they get to like 6 wins and the rookies look good, and there's just like fourth quarter collapses and poor decisions by Aaron Glenn, and unfortunately things don't look great in press conferences, then I could see maybe keeping one of there. They're not tied at the hip. It's just a weird structure.
Here's the most difficult question I could ask anybody. When Aaron Glenn says Geno Smith is going to lead us to the promised land, what is the promised land? What did he mean by promised land?
Competence.
Okay.
He didn't mean Super Bowl. He didn't mean playoffs. Like, again, it was a little Zach Rosenblatt had a great story on this in The Athletic where he was talking hyperbole. I make the mistake all the time. My boss, Matt Dunn, shout him out. Like, I get in trouble all the time for writing hyperbole and talking in hyperbole. Like, it's like a big bugaboo that SNY is trying to beat out of me right now. But I think that's what he did. Like, did he think Geno's going to take him to the Super Bowl? No. But, like, I look, from a reporting perspective, that is gold. That is catnip. Like, you hear that quote and you're like, boom, back page, talk show, radio, everything.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you want. Like, it's gold. But his perception of it for Glenn was like, dude, like, no, what he was trying to say was that for where we are right now, Geno Smith is the best quarterback for us. And for when we needed a quarterback this offseason, there was no better option for us than Geno Smith. That's where we are. Like, that's what he meant by it all. And I think that, like, unfortunately, he went a little above and beyond, and he went a little hard on it, and then it's a big talk show, and it's a big headline. Like, I was at the owners' meeting. I had GMs and coaches from other teams being like, promised land, huh? Like making fun of him. And it's like, dude, I get it. Like, again, it sounds worse than it is. But what I will say on it is, like, if you're Geno and Ev, you remember this, and Tiki, I'm sure you weren't playing when Geno was here, but like you were still involved in the New York market. Like, you know who Geno is as a person. Like, you know that he's kind of that guy that just wants to be loved. Is this the worst thing for the coach to say? Like for Geno, if you're sitting there wherever you are right now training, and you see your head coach went in front of everybody and said, this is the guy that's going to take me to the promised land. He said it, and now he's just getting his face dragged through the mud because he did. You don't think for Geno, he's like, hell yeah. And then Geno's thinking about running through a wall for this guy. Like, one thing we've learned about Glenn, dude, is he does not care about the 31. He cares about the 53 that he has. The other teams don't matter. So he can be dragged and made fun of. He knows that this probably resonated pretty well with his quarterback, and I'm sure he's fine.
Yeah, one of the things I really appreciate about you, Connor, is that, yes, you're reporting the news, you're telling us what you hear, but you will also give us an opinion. And so Geno Smith, because I covered a couple of those games out in Seattle when he made the Pro Bowl, and I was like, man, Geno, I'm proud of you. Being in New York and understanding the crap, and I'd use a worse word when I talked to him about it, that you went through, and now you're making Pro Bowls, man. A hell of a job. Congratulations. Yeah. But it didn't look like that last year. And so, and I know we know the situation in Las Vegas. Chip Kelly was horrible. He looked like he didn't know. I mean, it was bad. But what does he have left?
Well, you got to protect him. That's the big thing. And Glenn, this was not blown up because of the promised land comment and when he got like emotional at the end. But I asked him, like, hey, like the one thing we've seen about Geno is like you got to keep him upright. Right. Like if Geno's getting beat up and punched in the that's a bad analogy. If Geno's getting like beat up, that's total misspeaking there. That was bad by me.
That was so Freudian. That was totally Freudian.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. Oops. That was totally unintentional. Very unintentional. But if Geno's getting like hit a bunch, he's not a guy that's going to handle that well. He's going to start going to shell. He's going to start eyes go down, not down the field. If you can protect him like Seattle did, you're going to see the arm, which is still one of the better in the NFL. I mean, that's a top 15 arm. He's got accuracy. He's going to take chances. He's going to give his guys an opportunity to play. I think the Jets believe, and Aaron Glenn said this, they have an offensive line that's going to be able to keep them upright. They love their two bookend tackles. They're keeping the interior of the line together. Like they like where they are as an offensive line, where they're going to be able to protect Geno, which is now where you're going to be able to see the best of Geno. Like I think that's what they believe. And look, is he a top 10 quarterback anymore? I don't think, but is he top 15? Yeah, I think if he's protected, he can be a top 15 quarterback. And the big thing for the Jets, and this is what A.D. Mitchell's going to love and Garrett Wilson's going to love, is there's going to be a little like bleep it to Geno, where he's going to say like, yeah, maybe that's a 40-60% chance in favor of the DB. I don't care. I trust Garrett. I don't care. I trust AD. I don't care. I trust whoever the Jets are going to draft. I'm going to give my guy an opportunity to make a play. And the Jets haven't had that for a while. They had it a bit with Mike White, did not have it with Zach Wilson, didn't really have it with Aaron Rodgers even, and certainly didn't have it with like I said, with Zach.
Thank you, Connor. We always appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you, Connor.
No problem, guys. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Good. Connor Hughes, SNY. A lot of Giants, a lot of Jets. If you missed any of it, you can rewind it on the Odyssey app. But I do remind you on draft night, we're all hanging out. Craig, Big Mac, me, Tiki, Sean, Jerry, Gio, Boomer. It will be on the YouTube page of WFN as well as X, Facebook, and all the other platforms. So you can hang out with us, watch us, hang out with you with raw reactions to the draft on April 23rd at 7:30 p.m. It's all made possible by FanDuel and, of course, your home for New York football, WFAN. Your call's coming up, plus why there is concern about Juan Soto. Spring is the perfect time to refresh your home, and Windorama is making it easier than ever during the spring refresh sale. Save up to 30% on your window and door project, plus take advantage of low to no interest payment plans when you purchase and install with Windorama. It's simple. Book your free in-home consultation, shop from home, and let their local certified experts handle measurement and installation. Visit Windorama.com to book your free in-home consultation today.
This is your drive around the league with Tiki Barber. It's sponsored by Amazon Hub Delivery. Amazon.com/Hub Delivery. There was a point when Dexter Lawrence was viewed as one of the best interior D linemen in the NFL, and his play justified it. He was paid 2 years ago, but since then, he's fallen to the 12th highest paid interior defensive lineman. And in 2025, he had a down year, battling to return to form all season long. But that didn't stop him and his proxies from publicly requesting a trade this week from the only team that he's known. Look, requesting a trade is usually a way just to gain a new contract, and that's likely all this is. However, the recent doubling down by DEX, pining for his bygone teammates, Saquon, Barkley, Leonard Williams, etc., going elsewhere and winning Super Bowls, that complicates things just a little bit. It makes you question, will money be enough to smooth his ire? This drive around the league was sponsored by Amazon Hub Delivery. Visit Amazon.com/HUB Delivery.
And this portion of the program is sponsored by the New York International Auto Show. Visit autoshowny.com.
Cars you dream about, ones you imagine gripping the wheel of. Experience them all at the New York Auto Show. Exotics, sports cars, off-road, family SUVs, hundreds of vehicles. Daily through this Sunday at the Javits Center. Tickets at autoshowny.com.
The Chase Ink Business Premier Card is made for people who make things happen, like me. I'm Sam, founder and CEO of Manifest, a product design company that makes everyday products designed smarter. I get 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000 or more, plus unlimited 2% cash back on all other purchases, which helps us make more smart ideas into a brilliant reality.
The Ink Business Premier Card. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Cards issued by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Spring and summer are around the corner, and now's the time to prepare for pest season. Ticks, mosquitoes, ants, and rodents, they're all active this time of year. For over 50 years, homeowners and businesses have chosen J.P. McHale Pest Management. With local offices in New York City, Long Island, Hudson Valley, and Connecticut, with over 2,000 five-star reviews, they deliver proven year-round protection. Right now, take advantage of J.P. McHale's seasonal residential discounts and free commercial inspections. Visit nopest.com. That's NOPESTS.com. J.P. McHale Pest Management, not just good, guaranteed.
I'm a 100% kind of guy, so I got Verizon Fios. It's 100% fiber internet because I do everything at 100%.
What game should we watch?
100% of them.
She hits a
penalty kick
out of the park
from way downtown for a
beautiful shot onto the green.
You either have 100% fiber internet or you don't. Get Verizon Fios. It's super fast and reliable with ultra low lag. It's 100% or nothing. Call 1-833-VERIZON to switch today.
Go Teams!
Are you sick and tired of paying high prices for Continental tires? Then get to Town Fair Tire for the lowest price you'll find anywhere. Yes, the guaranteed lowest price on every Continental tire. Plus, at Town Fair, you get free services for life. Think about it. Why look anywhere else for Continental tires when Town Fair gives you the guaranteed lowest price plus free services for life? Nobody beats a Town Fair tire deal. Nobody.
Name brands at discount prices. Town Fair Tire.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-4094. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-575-4094. That's 800-575-4094.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code PROMO25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code PROMO25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code PROMO25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Attention drivers, the Mega Millions jackpot is up to $100 million. Take a break from New Jersey traffic and stop by any New Jersey lottery retailer to grab a ticket.
At Nielsen, fun is in the driver's seat.
Get in on the savings fund now at Nielsen Dodge during our lease pull-ahead event.
Get out of your current lease early and get into a new vehicle.
Don't wait for your lease to end. Upgrade now. We have hundreds of new Jeeps, Chryslers, Dodges, and Rams to choose from.
There's 0% financing available, 0 security deposit for qualified buyers with 0 down payment available.
Lease a new 2026 Jeep Wrangler 4-Door Sport S 4x4, just $259 a month.
Or choose from hundreds of quality certified pre-owned vehicles.
End your lease early and upgrade today.
So, get out of the old and into the new.
On Route 10 in East Hanover. Online at NielsenDodge.com.
At Nielsen Dodge, fun is in the driver's seat.
Declaration of Deals sales event. With approval term 24 months, due at sign 8104, at tax tag 498, doc fee, and DMV fees. See dealer for details.
All new Dunkin' Zero. Only 20 calories, 0 sugar. The all new revitalizing energy drink made with B vitamins so you can actually feel good about it. Struggling to make it through the afternoon? Wishing every meeting was an email? Sounds like it's time for Dunkin' Zero. It's the perfect pick-me-up without the spiral, and it comes in 6 delicious flavors like Sun Zest and Glamberry. Dunkin' Zero. Only at Dunkin'. Dunkin' Zero drinks contain caffeine from caffeine and guarana. Beverages are fruit-flavored, contain 0 fruit juice. Participation may vary. Limited time offer.
This is Sal Licata. You definitely don't want your AC system to fail this summer. So call my friends at Edison Heating and Cooling, New Jersey's air conditioning experts. Have them check your cooling system now. I know Edison Heating and Cooling. They are the real deal. Go to EdisonHVAC.com.
The New York Auto Show, an experience you won't get anywhere else. 4 floors, hundreds of vehicles. See them, feel them, ride in them. Simulators, custom-built vehicles, family fun. Daily through this Sunday at the Javits Center. AutoShowNY.com.
No matter the season, New York sports never stop. Yankees, Mets, Giants, Jets. If it's happening, we're talking about it. The Fan, 101.9 FM and always streaming on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn apps.
This Fan Focus is sponsored by Chef IQ. Precision cooking, effortless results, chefiq.com. The Mets send Juan Soto to the IL with that calf injury. He'll be out likely the next 2 weeks. More on that from the Fan's Evan Roberts.
Yeah, I'm happy that they're protecting him. You know, we talked about this yesterday, that this calf issue shouldn't be something they should rush him back on. Between the cold weather and just the fact that it's a tricky soft tissue injury, that it would behoove the Mets and Juan Soto to play it cautious. And so when they announced yesterday during an off day that he was going on the injured list, my first reaction was good. Good. They're playing it safe.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did a deep dive on other calf injuries. And then also the fact that it was also mentioned that he's out 2 to 3 weeks.
Right.
Not he'll be back when he's eligible, which would be next Tuesday against the Dodgers. That would only be a week and a half after the injury.
Right.
So they're telling you this isn't a, hey, it's a day-to-day thing, don't worry, he'll be back as soon as he's eligible, which would be Tuesday the 14th, a week from today. They're telling you it's going to be longer than that. It's going to be 2 to 3 weeks.
Right.
Here's my concern. I started to do a deep dive on other calf injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of them, but some of them. DJ LeMahieu. Do you guys remember that guy?
Yep.
Yeah.
But how old was DJ when that happened?
It's a great point, and I think that we need to factor this stuff in.
Of course.
Every example is going to be different, so I agree. DJ's in his late 30s. He got injured on March 1st. We didn't see him until the middle of May. Now, we also have to factor in he had to go through a full spring training,
right?
Which Juan Soto wouldn't need to do. And DJ is older. But that was a calf injury. Remember that a year ago?
Yes.
Made his debut May 13th. So you were talking about 2.5 months that DJ LeMahieu missed. The next example is an outfielder, a relatively young outfielder for the Houston Astros by the name of Jake Myers. Jake Myers had a calf issue on July 6th. He came back on September 6th. That is exactly 2 months. That's not the worst part of the Jake Myers example. The worst part of the Jake Myers example is that after coming back on September 6th, 3 weeks later, he re-injured his calf. Now, we don't know how much time that would have missed because the season was over. And look up Jake Myers' age. I think he's in his late 20s, mid to late 20s. So that's another example. Josh Young. All right, this one's not as bad. Young guy, Texas Rangers, suffered the injury early in spring training in 2024, only missed 3 weeks, and was ready for opening day. Mike Trout, 2021. Now, maybe not the best example because he's always hurt.
Yeah.
It was a lingering calf issue. He missed over a month and a half. And then the guy Juan Soto should really talk to is Bo Bichette. Because back in 2024, Bo Bichette had a lingering calf issue that reoccurred multiple times throughout the season. These are just a few examples, and they remind you that he may miss 3 weeks, and let's say that's the number, and he's back in 3 weeks. Is he going to suffer it again?
Right.
Because this is an injury that does, unfortunately, have reoccurrences.
Yeah, the problem with the calf is that it's hard to fully rest it if you're staying in shape, because you're constantly flexing your foot and your toe, and your calf is always going to be engaged. It's hard to rest it other than just to rest it.
Right.
So the last thing you want to do is to think you're okay and then not be okay, because that could lead to something more serious, which is either extended time or, and again, we talked about this yesterday, baseball's not explosive enough of a sport with running that you're likely to tear an Achilles, but you don't want to risk that.
There aren't any examples, and we have them in basketball and football as we talked about, but there aren't really baseball examples of a calf issue turning into an Achilles issue.
Right. It's just what I always think about.
No, I get it.
Nowadays, that's all I think about.
I think about that when it comes to football and basketball. I think with baseball, it's more the reoccurrence. That's the issue.
Right.
That Juan Soto sits out for 2.5 weeks. Okay, great, he's back, and now he's going first to third on a base hit, and he feels it again, and boom, there's 3 more weeks. And there's a lot of examples of that. So I'm concerned. I mean, I've got levels of concern right now, and I don't think it's just going to simply go away. Like, I don't think once he comes back, it's like, we're all good. Like, it's in the back of your mind. Now, credit to Juan Soto. He has played in his major league career.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to say he's never had injuries, because guys have injuries. They just play through it. Right? But he hasn't had extended periods of time that he has missed in his major league career. This has a chance to be his first. And so the track record is good. It's not like he's got a long track record of being hurt. But they're going to miss him for a while. And while I give the Mets an immense amount of credit for the way they performed without him in basically the 3 games where they scored a ton of runs against the Giants, every day now, for 2, 3, maybe even 4 weeks, they got a hole in their lineup. And that's concerning. Yeah. Guys need to step up, and we know the laundry list of guys that'll be on the hot seat, but I think going over the deep dive on calf injuries has made me more concerned than I was a day ago or 2 days ago.
Yeah, and I would also add Lindor, the power. We have to keep an eye on with the hamate bone. Remember, that was the last thing to come back would be any power. He still hasn't homered yet this year.
He did come close to a few of them a few weeks ago or a week ago, but you're right.
I understand.
He also hasn't driven in a run yet.
Exactly. And I know he usually gets off the cold starts, but the point is this was always the emphasis, and not to relitigate, but when losing Pete Alonso, these other guys stepping up, filling that power vote, and Vientos has done that. Man, if it takes Lindor a while to go, and this is something that lingers for Soto, this is where it's going to come back to bite the Mets a little.
Did you just bring this back to Pete Alonso?
Because of the replicating or replacing of power.
Why can't you just say Lindor needs to step up? Which is, by the way, a great opinion to have, and you should have it. Why does this have to go back to an off-season move? I don't think that's fair.
Because the biggest...
Not fair.
The Mets! It is fair.
No, it's not. Why are we litigating the offseason?
Because the power depth isn't there.
That was it. That was the biggest question when you lost Pete. It's not about losing Pete. It's did they do enough to replicate losing the power? And we talked about how everybody needed to step up internally. And my point is Francisco Lindor had an injury that traditionally the last thing to come back with that injury is power. Juan Soto is a power bat in the middle of the lineup. They need to find a way to replicate that. They are now going to be absent of that for a while. That's all.
I don't like you right now.
Okay. It's actually a good baseball point, but if you want to just say it was about Pete Alonso, it was more about the roster makeup.
Well, yeah, I would say that Francisco Lindor, who has done nothing this season and has had a lot of Aprils where he's done nothing, needs to step up. Yeah. He has struggled since Soto went down. They need more out of Francisco Lindor. That is an absolutely fair point. Bo Bichette has started to wake up. He's one of the replacements. If you want to bring up that name, he's one of the replacements for Pete. Bo Bichette is hit towards the end of this road trip. They need him to continue to step up. Mark Vientos has grabbed the first base job. It's only been like 5 days of grabbing.
It doesn't matter.
But he's grabbed it.
He's been fantastic. He hasn't been a liability defensively. In fact, was it him that made it, or is that Ben Rice? I can't remember. So one of them made a really good snag the other day.
They both have.
They both have been, obviously really, really good. But Mark Vientos grabbed first base, and so it just makes things a lot more calming. Just calm. There's not question marks now everywhere with inexperience, with both Bichette at third or Mark Vientos at first, and whoever, hell, your rookie in right field has been not so great.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't been good.
Bad, and so
got to give him more time. But you're right.
It just feels like you need some stability, and Mark Vientos has been a savior in that regard.
I mean, if I'm going to validify Sean's point about needing power, Mark Vientos may be the guy to supply it.
100%.
This is a guy, and the thing about Mark Vientos that's funny is he's not a theory. Like sometimes with young players and you talk them up, it's a theory.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Jason Dominguez could do this. Ronnie Mauricio could do this.
We saw it.
But we saw it briefly. In Mark Vientos' case, we saw it. Like in 2024, he was a slugger. So it's in him.
Right.
He's capable of it.
What do you have, 27? Yeah, I'm looking, 27.
Yeah.
No, that's a ton of home runs.
In a very small period of time, because remember, he didn't get an opportunity early in the season. So this is about guys stepping up. But I have a level of concern around Juan Soto, which leads us to a hopefully not long-term prediction. Hopefully it's a short-term prediction. And that is, when does Juan Soto get activated and return to the New York Mets lineup? Today is April 7th. He just went on the injured list. He is not eligible to return until April 14th. That seems very unlikely. Tiki Barber, tell us the return date of Juan Soto.
It will be April 24th.
April 24th.
Juan Soto.
Friday at home versus the Colorado Rockies.
I mean, I would take that at that point. That's an extra week and a half on the injured list. And that would be basically 2.5 weeks from today.
Yes.
Which means he would have missed a grand total of 17 games, including the 2 that they've already won in San Francisco. I would sign for that, by the way.
Without him.
Without him. All right? I'd sign for that. Sean Morash, the Juan Soto return date.
Juan Soto.
April 28th to start the series versus the Nats.
All right, so a few days earlier.
Later.
No, oh yeah, a few days later. You're right. Sorry about that. So I made a prediction yesterday on the Rico, but I'm not counting it. I've disqualified my prediction because that was prior to me going really deep and diving to the calf issue and what it could be.
What'd you say on the Rico? I didn't listen.
I think I said April 21st.
Oh,
I think I was going with their return home to take on the Minnesota Twins.
Yeah.
Like right before the NFL draft. That should be the question. What happens first? Soto takes an at-bat or the Giants draft Jeremiah Love at 5? Yeah, I'm going to push it back now to May 4th in Colorado.
Oh.
Yeah. Which means it would be basically a full 4 weeks of him out of action.
Yeah, full month.
And I don't think that's that crazy when you look at the other timetables that we've seen when you deal with a calf issue. But hopefully it's not that bad. But Met fans, I think we've downplayed this a little bit for a few reasons. I think we downplayed it based on, A, the Mets scoring runs and winning. Downplayed it because, he's okay. Juan said he's okay. He'll be back in a couple of days. But now that he's on the IL and they're telling you it's 2 to 3 weeks and you dive deeper on calf issues, I am much more concerned today than I was 48 hours ago. And that's not to cause panic. That's just being honest. We'll get to your calls next, 888-808-1019, the toll-free number. Yankees play tonight as well, and maybe when they play tonight, they should have a major change and different approach to ABS. We'll get into why coming up in the final hour as well. It's Evan and Tiki here on The Fan.
If you're looking to level up your wardrobe, check out Collars & Co. You might have seen them on Shark Tank where they landed a deal with Mark Cuban. They're the team behind the dress collar polo that sold over 1 million shirts. Now they've launched the Maverick Performance Blazer, and this thing is legit. Sharp, lightweight, and completely wrinkle-resistant, making it perfect for travel. Just pack it up and it comes out looking fresh. Plus, get smart features like security zip pockets, a sunglasses loop, and optional pocket square. So just hit up collarsandco.com. Use code Tiki for 20% off. That's at collarsandco.com.
This is an Odyssey Sports Minute.
Anyone blaming the referees for UConn's loss in the national championship game to Michigan is absolutely delusional. Michigan's best player, Yaxel Landemore, not 100% healthy. Michigan shot 13% from 3. UConn out-rebounded Michigan, had more assists than Michigan, just couldn't stop fouling Michigan. Michigan made its free throws. This is one that UConn will rue. They let it get away. I'm Nick Costos.
Hey, Metro New York. Ready for real savings? Switch to Allstate today. Because drivers who switched saved an average of $713 on their auto insurance. So, what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for an auto insurance quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate. Based on the national average annual savings for new customers surveyed in 2024, savings vary, subject to terms and availability.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
Pros, just because something on the job runs out doesn't mean you have to. Order it on the Lowe's app. My Lowe's Pro Rewards members get free same-day delivery on eligible orders over $25. Get the fasteners, hardware, or tools you need to keep the job moving. Order by 2 p.m. and get eligible in-stock items delivered right to your job site by 8 p.m. Members get more at Lowe's. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Subject to availability. Restrictions and terms at lowes.com/shipping terms. Subject to change.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. CordellCordell.com.
866-323-7529, 250 Pele, Saddlebrook. Diana Magala, licensed in New York and New Jersey. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Batteries Plus presents Power Ballads.
Unless you live in a cave, you need batteries for cars, boats, and smartphones to keep life a breeze. Did you know we sell key fobs? We program them too. From lithium to 9-volt batteries up the wazoo. Batteries Plus, there's no problem too large. Batteries Plus, we're the experts in charge.
Welcome to Odyssey CEO Spotlight. Scott Stanford here with Dr. Charles Simone, research professor and chief medical officer at the New York Proton Center. Doctor, what advice do you give young doctors and researchers who are entering the oncology field today?
For clinicians, it's easy. Do the right thing for the patient, put the patients first. That's what we do every day for every patient at the New York Proton Center. Thinking about the scientific evidence and the best treatment approach in the context of what are the wishes of the patients, the needs of the patients and the family, and come up with an individual approach that gives them the best outcomes. For researchers, seize the opportunity. If you're given opportunities, especially early in your career, take advantage of them. You'll get more opportunities, and then ultimately, you'll be the one to be able to give opportunities to others.
You can hear the full interview by visiting the Wins AM on-demand podcast feed or go to odyssey.com/1010wins and be inspired.
Gold prices are soaring and silver is near an all-time high. If you've got gold or silver just laying around, then you want top dollar, then go to the Estates Roadshow this Friday through Tuesday at TMT Cash for Gold in Old Bridge. For info, go to tmtcashforgold.com.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Penalties and interest are piling up every single day. Wage garnishments and bank levies could hit any moment. If you've been avoiding it out of fear, you're not alone. But waiting only shrinks your options and ramps up the stress. The truth is, the IRS settles with taxpayers every day through legitimate programs, and many qualify to reduce what they owe, in some cases by up to 99%. That's why thousands turn to helpwithirsdebt.com. They've guided over 120,000 Americans, resolved more than $2.3 billion in tax debt, and back every case with their ironclad resolution guarantee. If there's no real path forward, you get a full refund, no fine print. They even randomly select one qualifying client each year and pay off their entire IRS balance. Terms apply. Don't let another day pass. Go to helpwithirsdebt.com right now. It's fast, easy, and confidential. Find out what's possible today. Helpwithirsdebt.com. Once again, that's helpwithirsdebt.com.
Our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.
We're your official station to talk Yankees and Mets. WFAN, WFAN FM, WFAN FM HD1 New York, and Odyssey Sports Station.
Yo! Evan and Tiki here on the Fan, the Carton Show with Big Mac coming up at 2 o'clock. You've got a full day of baseball. That's right. The Mets play at 4 o'clock as they open up their 3-game series against the Arizona Diamondbacks. And tonight, I forget what Sean is nicknaming it, but it's a Cam Schlittler Tuesday night.
Dirty Water Day.
Dirty Water Day. See, I don't know if that's going to catch on.
The A's will be drinking that dirty water. There's already T-shirts being made, but I digress.
Certain things are said and they like, catch on. Like, I have to admit, last night on Raw, CM Punk did like this crazy promo, and he called Pat McAfee. And now, I'm not even doing it on purpose.
Right.
I don't even know Pat McAfee's politics. But now all I can do is call him McAfee. So CM Punk has just put that in my head, and it's over. It just doesn't matter. So it's a dirty water day?
Dirty water day.
What does that mean?
Because the famous Red Sox song when they finish games is dirty water, drinking that dirty water. And Cam tweeted that he's Mr. Boston, and now he basically makes every opponent drink that dirty water.
Yeah.
And the Red Sox stink, so they barely use it now anyway.
You've taken it.
Talking about whiskey?
I don't know, man. I don't know what the Boston deal is with that water up there. That could be anything. That could be whiskey. It could be legitimately dirty water.
By the way, that's a great question. I've never knew or figured out what dirty water meant. You know what this sounds like? It sounds like a rabbit hole.
There goes Tiki.
Right.
There goes Tiki down the rabbit hole.
I would assume it's alcohol.
I mean, what else would it be?
I don't know. I don't know what else it would be. And they're terrible right now in Boston. Things are getting real ugly. Real ugly, including Wilson Contreras threatening to kill everybody.
The
on
1965 garage rock song by the Stendells that serves as the unofficial anthem.
Oh, that's true. It's from the
Boston.
song. It's from the song Dirty Water. But where does this song come from?
It affectionately references the Charles River.
Ah.
So it is about legitimate water.
Yes.
Yeah. Legitimate dirty water in the city of Boston. That makes a lot of sense.
The pollution of the Charles River.
So now we have hijacked it, and it has become a Cam Schlittler kind of thing. Very important thing about the Yankees that I wanted
It won't catch on. There's no Charles River here.
No, but dirty water.
If he's tweeting it.
Yeah. If he's tweeting after every start, drink that dirty water or whatever he's tweeting. Dat dirty water. Then Cam Schlittler could very well make it a thing. Like, I'll tell you this about Cam Schlittler. He's not there yet. He's got a long way to go. He's got stiff competition between Aaron Judge and Jalen Brunson and maybe even Jackson Dart. Cam Schlittler's got a chance down the road to take the case.
Is he?
He's got a chance.
So he tweets this?
Well, he did it after the Boston game, and he kind of he responded to people after the Mariner game.
He said, keep doubting us.
Yeah, keep doubting us. And then people have tweeted, including me, to drink that dirty water, Cam.
Oh, so you're trying to make it a thing.
But Cam hasn't been doing it.
Since the Boston game. He did it in the Boston game.
Of course he did it in the Boston
No,
game.
no.
because
We're making it a thing.
It was against Boston.
Tiki, we're trying to get him to notice. We're making it a thing.
Sean's trying to make it a thing.
He can't make it a thing because it's a Boston
But
thing.
he is Mr. Boston. He told them to drink that dirty water.
But we don't have the Charles River. We have the East River.
Is that not dirty?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Do you think that's clean?
No.
We got rivers.
I would argue dirtier water.
Yeah. Our water's definitely dirtier.
There's dead bodies there.
Oh, stop.
I mean, he's not wrong.
They're probably up in the Charles too.
That's terrible.
Cam Schlittler can do whatever he wants.
That's true.
If he continues to shove like the man he is, not only does he have a chance to be the king of New York someday, he can make whatever phrase he wants cool. But he needs some help because what I saw on Sunday needs to be addressed. And I apologize if anyone else has really addressed this on this radio station. If anyone did, it'd probably be Big Mac, but I don't know if he did. What happened on Sunday needs to be fixed. Do you know what I'm even referring to?
I'm not aware.
The New York Yankees had 2 incorrect challenges.
Oh, yes.
And it left them naked. And these challenges were early. Austin Wells lost a challenge in the first inning, top of the first inning, as catcher trying to turn a ball into a strike. He was wrong. And then Trent Grisham in the bottom of the 6th inning, knowing this is it, I better get it right, had a called strike 3 he was attempting to overturn, and it wasn't. And you coincide that with the fact that Ben Rice continues to suck whenever he issues a challenge. And I love Ben. Ben's off to a great start. No bad words about him. He's just not good at challenging. The New York Yankees left them in a spot. You noticed this, Sean. In the bottom of the 9th inning, where strike 1 to Stanton was not a strike.
It was actually strike 2.
My apologies.
Yeah.
J.C. Escara. Strike 2 to Escara.
Yeah.
Clearly not a strike.
And bad ones, too. We're not talking about like a 10th.
Yeah.
Dude, we're talking way off the plate. And the only reason it wasn't overturned was because the Yankees mismanaged their challenges early in the game.
Yeah, but you live by the challenge, you die by it. We knew it was unsustainable. The Giants or the Yankees, whatever it was, 95% success rate with challenges when they started that season with 10 of 11 or whatever it was. So eventually it was going to come back and start to bite them, mainly because you start getting cocky about it.
Well, okay. I totally agree that they were never going to maintain a 95% success rate, but now let's get back to what I think we assumed was going to be the case before the season.
Mm-hmm.
You can't waste them early. And I give Meredith Marakovich credit because early on in the little sit-down with Aaron Boone on Sunday after the game, she brought it up. She said, Aaron, I mean, you'll hear her question, but let me paraphrase before you hear it. She's like, Aaron, you've had some horrible challenges. Are you considering changing the approach, considering you were left with your pants down in the bottom of the ninth inning?
I know we talked a little bit about it before the game in the ABS and the way you guys were kind of using your challenges. It looked like JC wanted a call. It looked like maybe other guys thought that calls could have been different there in that ninth inning. Does it change at all when you see maybe late game calls affected?
No. Well, I mean, we're gonna trust our knowledge of it, and there's going to be games where you don't have them at the end, and hopefully you always do because you're successful throughout. But there's going to be games like that.
Yeah, I disagree with him. I just think he's wrong. Like, I get that there are going to be days where you're unsuccessful. Then ask yourself this: is it worth challenging something early in a game? Like, I think you should always have a challenge in your back pocket for the ninth inning. That's my opinion. I formed it from 2 weeks of watching this. I get it's early. I get that Aaron Boone has a right to evolve as well, and I think he should evolve because I think you always need to make sure that in the ninth inning of a close game, you have a challenge in your back pocket. You cannot waste it in earlier innings. I don't care how arrogant you are about how successful you are.
I think you have to, if you're going to limit guys from doing it early in games, you're going to have to create an analytic around it. So this specific count, this specific situation, because guys are they're emotionally doing it right now. That's what it feels like. Mm-hmm. It's like, I know that wasn't a strike, so I'm challenging it, even though they're probably wrong. Sometimes, some of those times, there has to be an analytic to it. Otherwise, the same thing's going to keep happening. They're going to regress to the mean, which is probably about 60%.
And the problem with 60% is it still leaves you in a spot. Like Sunday's game could have been different. And I'm not blaming it on those two calls, but those at-bats go differently, especially Escara. It went from 1-1 to 0-2. Yeah. I mean, that's a huge difference. So I think that with the first challenge, and this is the opinion I have formed through 2 weeks of watching baseball, maybe it'll evolve, maybe some people disagree, agree, I have no idea. I'll be aggressive with the first one. You think that the umpire screwed up, go to town. Once I've lost one and I'm down to one, I'm basically saying, bro, you better be freaking right. Or I'm not wasting that because in the ninth inning, whether I'm up by a run or down by a run, that sequence could change the game. And the last thing I want to have happen is what happened Sunday, where I don't think enough is being made of it. Like the sequence of the game changed because the New York Yankees didn't have a challenge left. That had to bother you, Sean.
Of course it bothered me. And look, this is the point, though, right? We're all getting used to this. Everybody wants their chance still. I think we're trying to get through the lineup, right? Like, we sat there when Ben Rice had his terrible challenge.
That was embarrassing. I was embarrassed for him.
Yeah. I know we didn't really get to talk about that.
Right down the middle.
Yeah. It was, like, not even close. Yeah. And I think I think if you're a manager, whether it's pitcher, catcher, or later, whether it's everybody up at the plate, you're letting them figure this out on their own through the first month of the season, and then I think you recalibrate and go, all right, everybody's had their fill, everybody figured out what they're looking for, here's the new approach. Somebody does it, that's it, we save it for the ninth.
I was thinking about something before the season. I said, I think I did it on the Rico because it was so geeky. I said, if you get it wrong, there's a fine, and it goes into the court, the kangaroo court. And someone said, Ev, that's a bad idea because now guys just aren't going to challenge.
Right.
And you want them to at least challenge when it's necessary. So then I came up with a better plan, but I think it's illegal, so you'll have to tell me, where if you get the challenge right, you get money, but if you get the challenge wrong, you give up money. I think that's gambling, and I'm sure that's illegal.
Definitely illegal.
But what about that?
Definitely.
Oh, so that doesn't work?
Yeah.
Damn it. I thought that was a good idea.
No, they definitely couldn't do that.
Or they could just feel shame and understand that their ego's in the way and, just allow it to challenge when it's necessary.
So when
That's
you get
the better way.
So when you get it wrong, everyone in the dugout screams, shame!
Yeah.
Shame!
Shame!
Yeah, it's a good idea. The Ben Rice one on opening day, I actually was so embarrassed for him. And look, Ben's been awesome. He's played really good defense at first base. He's hit a ton. Like, there's nothing bad to say about Ben Rice in terms of his performance, except for challenging. He sucks at it. He's really bad at it.
Not a good sign if you plan on moving him behind the plate.
I was going to say, which
That's why he's not. That's why Escar is on this team.
Let's get to your calls, 888-808-1019. John and Maspeth. Hey, John.
Hey, yeah, so I saw the Mets change the time for today's game because it was cold.
Yeah.
You know, it makes me wonder what's going to happen in October when the playoffs come around, but then I realize it's the Mets. They don't play in October.
That's what you wanted to do.
You waited all day for that.
I'm going to pull a mic. You sat on hold for 2 hours, okay? You could have helped an old lady cross the street, okay? And what you... Sorry, the mic imitation gives me a...
Clown.
Gives me a cough. You waited all day to make a stupid Met playoff joke? And, you know, I can be so literal right now and say, the Mets will play like 4 o'clock playoff games. Don't you remember 2 years ago? What are you talking about? That's what you waited for, John?
Clown.
To make a playoff joke?
Clown.
By the way, let me check my poll because I was asking Yankee fans and Met fans if you had tickets to tonight's game because the Yankees kept their start time of 7 and the Mets moved it up to 4. What would you prefer? And most people say move the game to 4. 67% of people are in support of the Mets' decision.
Shocking. People don't like being cold, Evan.
The best part about
they just want the game to get over with.
That too.
The best part about the Mets' decision is that there's a lineup for today's game. And so now I get to look at it and I can put it on my scorecard. You have any interest in the Met lineup or should I just move on?
Yeah, you can go ahead. Give it to us.
Lindor, Bichette, Polanco, DH, Robert in center, Beatty in right, Vientos at first, Simeon at second, Carson Bench in left, Francisco Alvarez behind the plate. I think that's going to be your most of the time lineup with Juan Soto out.
Right. I missed this when Soto got put on IL. Is Mauricio breaking news or not?
Ronnie Mauricio has been called up. That was news from yesterday.
Okay.
What I'm curious about with Ronnie, and why I don't necessarily love them calling him up, is if he comes up, he should play. You know, You're still trying to develop him, and I don't know if he's going to play.
Yeah, Mendoza just spoke on this.
What did he say?
You want to hear Mendoza?
I'd love to hear Mendy, my guy.
All right.
How do you envision using Mauricio?
With Beatty and Polanco dealing with minor things here, we thought it was best to bring Mauricio to protect us from the versatility, especially in the infield. I had a conversation with him earlier today. Even though that his name is not going to be on the starting lineup, he's got a pretty important role. Coming off the bench, lefty bat, the versatility, defensively, pinch running if we need to, but also understanding that the playing time probably is going to be limited. But we're not talking about having a case here like last year where he kind of sat on the bench for a long time. Like playing time is going to be important for him. So it might change in the next few days, but he has to stay ready because it could happen quick. That, hey, before you know it, your name is on the lineup and you're playing every day. So we were pretty honest with him. He's on board. He understands of the situation. And, we'll see where we are after, the next few days.
You said two different things and you contradicted each other, man.
That was in less than 2 sentences. You said 2 different things.
Yeah. You said he needs to play, which I agree with. Then you said he's not going to play.
Yes. But he's going to stay ready.
Yeah. You know what he said? I think I got it all figured out. I speak Mendy. I don't know if you know that. I speak Mendy fluently.
Let's hear it.
Brett Beatty and Jorge Polanco are made of glass right now. And there's a really good chance that one, if not both of them, are going to end up missing days of action. And that's when Ronnie Mauricio is going to play. If for some reason the glass doesn't break and those guys stay healthy, Ronnie's ass is going to be glued to the bench unless I need a pinch runner.
And not be playing.
That's how I took it.
Yeah.
Because Beatty's dealing with a thumb issue. He's back in the lineup. Polanco's been dealing with an Achilles issue. He's back in the lineup. But who knows how long that's going to last? Yeah, I was surprised by Mauricio calling up. I thought they'd call up someone like MJ Melendez who they don't feel pressure to play because Ronnie Mauricio does need to play every day. Speaking of the minor leagues, how about Dominguez? Have you checked out what's going on down there?
Tearing it up.
He's tearing it up, but he's not only tearing it up, guys, he's hitting from the right side. So the only thing Dominguez needs to figure out, it's kind of a small thing, is he needs to figure out how to catch fly balls.
Yeah.
Once he does that, we're set. He just needs to figure that little outfield part out.
Why? Has he had errors in the minors?
I've seen highlights already. It's not good.
The problem is we never see the balls that are hit to him that he catches. It feels like it's only there's a misplay.
You know what?
Just the fact that there are multiple of those that he misses is a bad sign.
It's a problem.
There's been 2.
Jason Dominguez is figuring to be a designated hitter. That's where he's headed. And the problem is that spot is taken by Giancarlo Stanton.
Mm-hmm.
So, want to do Dominguez for Mauricio? Would you guys do that?
What happened to Vientos? He's off the table?
No, he's off the table now. You had your shot.
Excuse me?
You had your shot.
He's slotted in as a starter now.
Yeah. He's our starting first baseman, dude. I'm not trading him.
My prediction, Jason Dominguez catches the final out of the World Series this year.
How about that?
I won't tell you for what team.
That's a good swerve right there. Let's go to Kevin in Islip Terrace. What's up, Kevin?
Hey, how you guys doing? I got a nickname for Cam Schlittler.
Yeah.
Remember when you were a kid and you bought the Schlitz Tall Boys?
Yeah, of course.
Schlitz Tall Boy.
Perfect name. I mean, it fits. He is a tall boy. I just don't know if that's going to catch on.
Yeah, I would argue not the perfect name, but I see the creativity.
Called him Malty.
Ooh, all right. That's more creative.
Yeah.
Why do you call him Malty? Because he's a Schlitz malt liquor.
See, that works.
Very creative. Let's go to Sal in Brooklyn. Hey, Sal.
What's going on, boys? Hoping all is well.
Oh,
hey, don't forget, in 2011, Jeter got hurt, missed 3 weeks with a calf.
Yeah.
So the calf injury with Soto, he's going to be about 3 weeks, 4 weeks, but he'll come back healthy. I just think it's more, and again, I know everybody's going to want to kill me, with that WBC, these guys came out like a thoroughbred, and then they had to tone it down as opposed to building it up. So it'll be fine, man.
But that's an interesting theory because I know that when certain guys got off to bad starts, that's the WBC. That's the WBC. I don't know if anyone's brought that up yet until Sal, because I've put the WBC out of my mind. But is it possible that Soto ramping it up as early as he did and then ramping it back down and then ramping it back up, does that contribute to a soft tissue injury?
I doubt it. I would think once you're ramped up, you can coast for a week or so and be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what caused this.
I also don't understand the ramp down. It's not like at the All-Star break, guys just start getting hurt out of the All-Star break. It was a week.
Yeah, I guess you're not. The way I would say it is in spring training, if you're going first to third, you may not necessarily be busting it the way you bust going first to third during the regular season or the World Baseball Classic. So you did it, you stopped, now you're doing it again. I'm just asking the question. I'm no doctor. I don't know the answer.
Neither are we doctors, to be honest with you.
You think Thursday at Citi Field is a special night because it's Nolan McClain against Eduardo Rodriguez?
What do you mean special?
See, this is my point. I just thank you. No, you guys did great. I did great. What do I mean by special?
Yeah.
Nolan McClain versus Eduardo Rodriguez.
Why do we care about Eduardo Rodriguez?
Okay,
there we go.
It again. You're my man. That was the pitching matchup of the WBC Finals.
Who played in it again?
I honestly,
I forgot who we lost to.
Venezuela.
Oh, right.
You guys don't remember it was McClain against Rodriguez?
No, I don't.
No,
Even
no
when
memory.
I honestly don't remember the final.
Okay. I did that on purpose. I wanted to see if you guys remembered. Clearly, the answer is no, so thank you for that. Let's go to Artie in Brooklyn. Hey, Artie.
Yeah, who's making this lineup? Is Aaron Glenn making this lineup for the Mets? Yeah, Aaron, you need a power hit, all right? They lose Soto, right? This is killing me. And they put the gun to hit 2 home runs. Batting ninth. What are you doing? Listen, somebody tell Mendez that the guy that's batting ninth is like a leadoff hitter. What are you? You got bench. He can steal bases. He's lucky. Nobody says a word. You'd rather have Simeon up than Alvarez. Somebody talk to this guy. All right, thanks, guys. Thanks for the call.
Appreciate you.
Just for hitting.
Mendez.
Yes.
What garbage?
I guess he doesn't like the lineup, huh?
He does not. Well, specifically,
Alvarez is batting ninth, huh?
he doesn't like Alvarez batting ninth, which he's been doing this season.
Of course.
I think right now with Alvarez, and the reason why I'm not going to scream and yell like Artie, and I actually am okay with this, is you're telling Francisco Alvarez, go prove it. That's what you're telling him to do. You're not rewarding him and saying you're our cleanup hitter. Maybe that puts too much pressure on him. You're saying you are the 9th place hitter. You get great protection with Francisco Lindor. In theory, the pressure is off. Go prove it. Go hit your way back into the cleanup spot. So I understand Artie's point.
Was he ever the cleanup hitter?
I mean, maybe one random day.
No,
when
he
the
never
lineup was beat. I mean, I could look if you're that curious. I'm sure there was a day, but I would not. I like the fact that they're making him prove it. Now, I don't like him batting ninth necessarily because I like someone who gets on base, which in theory is what Carson Benj would do. But I think right now you're telling Francisco Alvarez, go prove it, big boy. But man, that pissed off Artie. Damn.
It did.
Sean was telling me that Boone was on with our friends John Boy in his weekly spot and said that Ahmed Rosario is starting tonight.
Yep.
That's exciting.
We're not worried about lefty-righty stuff tonight.
Nah, screw it. I mean, why not? Your left side of the infield's been hot garbage. Give Ahmed a chance.
Yeah, McMahon could be facing a pitcher throwing with his nose and wouldn't get a hit. So what's the difference?
Yeah, he's off to a rough start. And so is Caballero. Caballero's been getting a free pass because his name is not Anthony Volpe.
Yeah,
definitely.
He's also been good defensively at shortstop. So
he had a couple misses, but he has the speed. His speed plays.
Yeah,
Right.
well, he's stolen a bunch of bases. And look, I like Caballero. I think he's going to be fine. But here's the good news. Your left side of the infield's done nothing, and you're 7-2.
Yeah, that's great.
That's a good spot to be in. We'll come back with more of your calls. 888-808-1019 is the toll-free number. And we touched on it earlier with Connor Hughes. Are the Jets really moving away from Arvel Reese at 2? We'll let you know what we've heard. Guys, Major Golf is officially kicking off in Georgia this week, and make sure you check out Flag and Anthem Ambassador Keegan Bradley. He'll be heading out to toe and Flag and Anthem gear. Now is the time to grab some new gear from Flag and Anthem. I'm wearing it right now. Especially their MVP polos. Made from the stretchiest performance fabric with over 30-plus prints to choose from. There's a polo for every guy and occasion out there. And starting Thursday, get a free Flag and Anthem tumbler when you spend $150 or more while supplies last. So go head on out to flagandanthem.com and enter the code WFAN25 to get 25% off your order. Flag and Anthem. Real clothes for real life.
Spring is the perfect time to refresh your home, and Windorama is making it easier than ever. During the Spring Refresh Sale, save up to 30% on your window and door project. Plus, take advantage of low to no interest payment plans when you package or purchase and install with Windorama. It's simple. Book your free in-home consultation, shop from home, and let their local certified experts handle measurement and installation. Visit Windorama.com to book your free in-home consultation today.
And this portion of the program is sponsored by the New York International Auto Show. Visit autoshowny.com.
The New York Auto Show, an experience you won't get anywhere else. 4 floors, hundreds of vehicles. See them, feel them, ride in them. Simulators, custom-built vehicles, family fun. Daily through this Sunday at the Javits Center. autoshowny.com.
I'm Pat Boyle here to help you beat the buzz in Buffalo Run Sports. Celtics host the Hornets, and as somebody who has fallen in love with Charlotte since January, it pains me to have to do this, but I like Boston to cover. This is a quasi-playoff game, both teams. Celtics trying to lock up the 2 seed, Hornets trying to avoid the play-in. And yes, Charlotte crushed the Celtics last month before Jason Tatum came back. When they played again last week, Celtics won by double digits on the road. Hard not to trust Boston at home to win by just 5 points when they're fully healthy. I like the Celtics. I'm Pat Boyle. Bet smarter and beat the books. Download the BetMGM app today.
My name is Christine, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, was a healthy 34-year-old, and 3 months later, he was gone. Thankfully, he had life insurance. Ethos made it so easy. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. 100% online, no medical exam. Life insurance didn't take away the loss, but it did give us the space to just grieve.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. ethos.com/game. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Hey fans, on Sunday, April 19th, when the Yankees take on the Royals, take your family out to the ballpark for the chance to receive a very special kids giveaway. It's Hershey Park Kids Ticket Giveaway Day. The first 10,000 kids, 14 and younger in attendance, will receive a Hershey Park Kids ticket, courtesy of Hershey Park. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com/tickets. That's the Yankees and Royals on Hershey Park Kids Ticket Giveaway Day, Sunday, April 19th. Visit Yankees.com/tickets today.
The Chase Ink Business Premier Card is made for people who make things happen, like me. I'm Sam, founder and CEO of Manifest, a product design company that makes everyday products designed smarter. I get 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000 or more, plus unlimited 2% cash back on all other purchases, which helps us make more smart ideas into a brilliant reality.
The Ink Business Premier Card. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Cards issued by JP Morgan Chase Bank. NA member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
The most important meal of the day just got better at Dunkin'. Now you can get a medium hot or iced coffee, 6 crispy, delicious hash browns, and a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich, all for $6. That's a full breakfast meal for $6. 6 crispy golden hash browns, a warm, delicious bacon, egg, and cheese, and a medium coffee to start your day right. Do breakfast the Dunkin' way and order Dunkin's $6 meal deal. No substitutions. Participation at times may vary. Limited time offer. Cannot be combined with other offers. Exclusions and terms apply.
Town Fair Tire honors any valid rebates, manufacturers or competitors' rebates. Yes, even any competitors' rebates. And we give you the guaranteed lowest price. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.
Town Fair Tire.
The New York International Auto Show is back, highlighting the latest automotive trends. The show provides an engaging forum where new technology and designs can be viewed, explored, and enjoyed. For 2026, Kia is offering the all-new Seltos SUV and the all-new all-electric EV3 entry-level SUV. Kia's second-generation Seltos and the all-new EV3 bring advanced design and electrification to the show. James Bell, Head of Public Relations at Kia America.
Built for getting the most out of your daily commute or weekend adventure, the fully redesigned 2027 Kia Seltos raises the bar for the compact CUV segment. The all-new Seltos features an available hybrid powertrain, bold new styling, a roomier cabin, and advanced technology. Meanwhile, the all-new 2027 Kia EV3 sets a new benchmark as the most attainable model in the brand's growing electric vehicle lineup. The EV3 delivers efficient, all-electric performance with a compact footprint alongside the space, safety features, and advanced technology of a much larger SUV.
For more information on the Seltos CUV and the all-electric EV3 SUV, visit kia.com. Sponsored by Kia.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
Well, good morning, kiddo. I love that you're home from college. I've missed you.
Still taking your Nature-Made vitamins?
Every day. A multivitamin and a probiotic. You better be taking yours.
Still looking out for me, Mom.
I'll never stop.
Made to care for you every day. Nature-Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Find us in the vitamin aisle, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
The Rico Bronya podcast is proudly sponsored by Takara Fuji Apple Chew High, the sparkling cocktail that blends shochu spirits with delicious flavors of fruits from Japan. Whether it's Citi Field or your favorite spot, raise the apple.
Hey, Boomer Esiason here. After years in the game, I don't guess. I go with what works. With Red Pocket Mobile, you lock in your rate and you keep it. No price creep, no sudden jumps, just straightforward pricing and premium 5G plans starting at $10 a month. Visit redpocket.com to see why more Americans are switching to better wireless without paying more. Red Pocket Mobile, your new ultimate cell carrier.
At Nielsen, fun is in the driver's seat.
Get in on the savings fund now at Nielsen Dodge during our lease pull-ahead event.
Get out of your current lease early and get into a new vehicle.
Don't wait for your lease to end. Upgrade now. We have hundreds of new Jeeps, Chryslers, Dodges, and Rams to choose from.
There's 0% financing available, 0 security deposit for qualified buyers with 0 down payment available.
Lease a new 2026 Jeep Wrangler 4-Door Sport S 4x4, just $259 a month.
Or choose from hundreds of quality certified pre-owned vehicles.
End your lease early and upgrade today.
So, get out of the old and into the new.
On Route 10 in East Hanover. Online at NielsenDodge.com.
At Nielsen Dodge, fun is in the driver's seat.
Declaration of Deals Sales Event. With approval term 24 months, due at sign 8104, at tax tag 498, doc fee, and DMV fees. See dealer for details.
Gold prices are soaring, and silver is near an all-time high. If you've got gold or silver just laying around, and you want top dollar, then go to the Estates Roadshow this Friday through Tuesday at TMT Cash for Gold in Old Bridge. For info, go to tmtcashforgold.com.
Hey everyone, Boomer here. If you love eating great food as much as I do, you have to listen up. The Chef IQ Sense wireless thermometer and the mini oven are must-haves in your kitchen. The thermometer helps perfectly cook your chicken, fish, or meat, and the oven is an all-in-one hero that bakes, broils, air fries, toast, and much more. For years now, I've been telling you about how amazing these products are and how they have changed my life. Now it's time to change yours. Go to chefiq.com and don't forget to use the code word BOOMER to save big at checkout. That's code word BOOMER at chefiq.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-948-7878. That's 800-948-7878.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit Tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
Your official station to talk Yankees. The Fan, 101.9 FM and always live on the free Odyssey app. Download it today.
I know what you're thinking. If you're one of those like P1s where you listen to every second of Evan and Tiki, you're like, wait a second. It's 1:33. Where the hell's my Cinco de Luncho? And the answer is Tiki and I weren't hungry.
Blame Connor.
But now we are.
Sean Moraes in the booth, somebody hide the castle. Optics flying, phones ringing, Evans yelling, no! Tiki's laughing, chaos cracking, nobody's in control. It's Cinco de Roncho. Bam! Crunch! Let's go!
Let's go! Cinco de Luncho, brought to you by Helix Wireless, connecting everything, everywhere. Today is Tiki Barber's 59th birthday. Happy birthday, Tiki.
What are you talking about?
How old are we now again?
51.
Oh, that's right. You don't look a day over 58. Happy birthday, Tiki. Happy birthday, Rondé. So, look, everybody knows about Tiki's playing career. We've gotten to know and love Tiki Barber here on the radio. So I'm here to give you the 5 things we've truly learned about Tiki in his radio career. All right, here we go.
Sean Moraes in the booth, somebody!
We've learned I suck at this.
Here we go!
Number 5.
He analyzes cheer competitions with the same passion as football tape.
Facts.
That is true.
Unbelievable.
That is true. I didn't know that until I met Tiki.
You would think I need a podcast.
Yeah.
You should start one.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. All right.
Number 4.
He does more push-ups in a single commercial break than me and Evan have ever done in our lives combined.
It doesn't surprise me, but it's absolutely true.
Yes.
Yes, all right.
Number 3.
He thinks rookies suck.
We have learned that.
I hate rookies.
Number 2.
He has no issue sending nudes when appropriate.
That is true. We learned that. That was a shocker.
That was a Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Little Tiki's out there somewhere in the cloud.
Number 1.
And the number one thing we've learned about Tiki in his radio career is that you could literally walk an alien into this room and have him meet Tiki Barber, and he will not believe it's real.
I totally agree.
And that's your
It's a
signal.
hologram.
Happy birthday.
It's AI.
That
It's
is a
fake.
spot on number 1. Because as you're doing the list, I'm like, the alien thing better be number 1. Good job by you, Tiki. Now, John Harbaugh is facing his first real challenge as head coach of the New York Giants. As we've talked about throughout this show, you could rewind on the Odyssey app to 10 o'clock or even our conversation with Connor Hughes. Dexter Lawrence has demanded a trade. And today is the non-mandatory Giant workouts when we know Dexter won't be there, but John Harbaugh will. So how will John Harbaugh answer questions about Dexter Lawrence? Let's find out with this Fan Focus.
Yes, Evan, this Fan Focus is sponsored by Chef IQ Precision Cooking, effortless results, chefiq.com. The Giants have reported to their voluntary workouts without 3 players. Newly signed Sam Roberts, cornerback Paulson Adebo, who does not have an excuse apparently, more on that later, and Dexter Lawrence. So John Harbaugh was asked about the future of Dexter Lawrence.
What are your thoughts on that and, the prospects of him being a Giant moving forward?
Yeah, we'll find out. I think the prospects are going to be high because the Giants, speaking for the Giants, we want Dexter here, and I believe Dexter wants to be here. That's a good formula, but there's business involved. It's a business proposition. We know it's pro football, and these things happen every year, pretty much on every team. So, not surprised by it. Saw it coming a few weeks back, probably, and good conversations with Dexter's agent, Joel Siegel, and understood what they were thinking. And this is where we're at. So we'll just try to work through it and see where we can get done.
First of all, very interesting that John was having the conversations with Dexter Lawrence's agent.
I'm glad you picked up on that.
That's how well, that's the number one thing that jumped out at me. Like, this is a John. For anyone who is unsure who is running the show, it is John Harbaugh.
But it also tells you why this became public. Because they've had conversations, they've gone nowhere, and so they were forced to make it public.
Correct. Oh, absolutely.
Meaning the Siegel, Dexter Lawrence side of it.
What I'd love to know is what was discussed in those conversations. Like, did John, representing the Giants, his words, make some kind of offer to improve his contract? But what John did right there, I like what he did.
I think he probably just said, you got 2 years left on your deal.
That was the conversation?
Show up.
Right.
Yeah.
He got 2 years left, bro. He downplayed it. And what he said was, and how are we to know? This happens all the time. You're just not aware of it.
That's true. That's a fact.
And that
we do know that's true.
That's the difference in why John Harbaugh was a great hire for the New York Giants and what they've been missing.
Yeah.
He referenced the rest of the league, and every team deals with this, and we'll figure it out.
And calmly.
He just squashed basically any chum in the water for this being a distraction to what he's building with the Giants. I really believe that.
He also said Dexter wants to be here, even though Dexter contradicts that by saying he wants to be traded. But what John did is kind of what I've done just as a host, which is this is all about the money. It has nothing to do with anything else. Don't give me he's upset about Saquon. Don't give me he's tired of losing. This is about a man who feels he's underpaid. And John Harbaugh, in a lot of ways, just said that. Because he's like, he wants to be here. It's just he wants more money.
Look, you're not going to dispute the reporting that's out there around that. Let's talk about the championships and the guys that have left here. But I don't think that Dexter Lawrence is telling people, I don't want to be with the Giants because they traded away my best friend, Leonard Williams, and Saquon Barkley, and they all went other places and won chance. He's not saying that.
Right.
Like, that might be known that he's frustrated by that, and then you kind of extrapolate it into this situation and make it a part of it. It's probably not connected.
There is one more piece of audio, though, expounding on the defense. There was a lot of trade rumors around Kayvon Thibodeau this offseason as well.
Oh, yeah. We forgot about those, actually.
So he was asked further on that.
His name has come up in trade talks. How do you view him? Do you view him as a piece of the foundation, or do you think he's a guy who could be traded?
I think he's a great player. I'm excited about him. I was fired up to see him today. He looks great. He's in great shape, and I'm thinking about him on the field. I'm thinking about getting him plugged into our defense and getting him rolling. I think, you want to talk about is he a trade possibility? Everybody's tradable. Everybody. Even you're tradable, Dan. If we can get something for you, we trade you in a heartbeat, man. But it's not really what you focus on. You focus on the fact that we're having a day. We're talking ball. We're getting our team is coming together as a team, and the business part of it, is the business part, and that kind of swirls around us. But we try to lock in on the football.
I cannot get over how much he sounds like former President Joe Biden, a younger Joe Biden. Like, when he said, I trade you, Dan, I kept thinking he'd probably say that. Yeah, I trade you there, Kamala Harris or Barack Obama or anybody else around me. I trade you. Who's my chief of staff? What's your name? I'll trade you.
I just can't hear. I don't remember him that when he was young.
Oh, Joe Biden?
Yeah, I don't remember the words he said.
Yeah, he was gaff-filled. He was very funny. Like, he made a lot of mistakes. Like, innocent mistakes, but and some not. But, like, he made just a lot of mistakes. I don't think John Harbaugh is doing that. It's more the voice. They just sound alike.
Yeah.
I like how he downplays it. Everybody's tradable.
Well,
Look at you, Dan. You're tradable.
It's just a way to disarm it. Instead of being defiant, as some coaches are wont to be, you just kind of just say, whatever, it just happens.
By the way,
it's football.
It's the truest answer in all of sports. Like, yes, there are some people who are not tradable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Judge is not tradable. There's no conversation that's going to cause Brian Castro to be like, screw it, I'll do it.
Shohei Ohtani.
Ohtani and Betts, man. But okay. Everybody's tradable. So I think that's a very truthful answer from John. Yeah, I like him. He's a good player. But by the way, if a team calls up and offers me a one, you can kiss my ass. He's gone.
Right.
You know what I mean? I like John Harbaugh. I am so jealous that he's your head coach. Like, that's the other thing.
I just love how he deals with media.
Yeah, he deals with it well.
It's one of the hardest things because it saves the perception to the fan base about not just you as a coach, but the organization. If your head coach can't talk to the media, the organization feels incompetent.
Yeah.
And so just his way he addresses media.
I don't know if we're overrating John because everyone else sucks so badly. Like prior Giant coaches, Jet coaches, all that. Like if you just think of the last 8 coaches we've had in that building, MetLife Stadium, they're all so bad that maybe John sounds like Abe Lincoln.
Well, I think experience matters. Yeah, you're right. He does sound like, but experience matters. So you know when a question gets asked, is this worth creating some kind of issue over? Is this worth like making it so disengaging to the media that they're going to keep asking? Or is this something that means nothing in the long term and very little in the short term? I think that's what John Harbaugh is master at because he's had experience. So when you ask a question about someone getting traded, like if he said about Dexter Lawrence, yeah, it's disappointing that Dexter Lawrence would come out and say something like that. Now we got to really evaluate it, but we're going to handle that in-house. We're going to keep it all in-house. And then you get like 6 more questions, and it's all like, we're handling it in-house. We're handling it in-house. Like instead, he just disarms it and just says, this happens everywhere.
Right.
We want him to be here. He's a great player.
He may not have disarmed everything. It appears there is some serious anger towards, at least you could read between us, Paulson Adebo not showing up today.
You mentioned Paulson Adebo's the one, and again, this is not mandatory, but I guess it's frowned upon if you're not there.
And just to set the scene, Adebo signed a big contract last year before he got there. They lost Cordell Flott. There's a lot on Adebo's plate here as the top corner.
I think a lot of this is because from what I read, and maybe I'm wrong, you can correct me, Sean, he didn't tell why he wasn't going to be there.
Exactly.
He didn't say, I'm not going to show up. He just didn't show up.
So we've all been there in trouble, fathers, grandfathers. John Harbaugh reading Paulson Adebo the riot act the best he could.
You mentioned Paulson's also absent. I just wanted to follow up on why he's not there. Is that contract related? Is it injury related?
Girl, we just got done 45 minutes ago, so I'm not exactly sure. But it's his right. It's his reason. Whatever his reason is, I'll be interested to hear it, but it is what it is. It's okay.
I'll be interested to hear it.
No, it's not okay.
So the reason it's not okay is because if you're not going to show up, just do somebody the courtesy. It's like your, I don't know, it's a wrong example, but I'll use it. It's like your wife saying, hey, I'm going to get together with some of the guys, some of the girls, and their husbands are coming. We're going to be at Bob's house. Honey, would you come, please? And then you just don't show up, and you don't text your wife. You don't say, "Hey, honey, I'm not coming," or you don't say anything.
Right.
You got to say something.
Yeah, but the other kind of line John Harbaugh's walking is it's not mandatory. So you're right.
That's right.
He should say
it's
something.
Like, I don't have
but
to
he
go
doesn't have to.
I don't have to go to Bob's house. But Tracy, I'm not saying anything.
Right.
You have no idea. No. You have no idea what I'm doing, where I am. I just don't show up.
Yeah. Here's this whole thing is very concerning. I'm now, after everything else has been great, here's why this is concerning. He's your best corner. And you've got major questions at corner to begin with. I know you added that Greg Newsome character, and I'm sure you'll address this in the draft as well, but Deontay Banks stinks. I don't want to hear about him. I know there's a new lease on life. Paulson Adebo is arguably one of the most valuable players on defense, and he's already in the doghouse with your head coach.
Right. Yeah.
That's concerning.
Yeah. It can be smooth, but this will be smoothed over easily if he just reaches out. Just explain it. You just got to explain yourself. You can't not say something.
You just signed a deal last year. Can you just be smart enough to say something?
Yeah.
It's your brand new head coach who's won a Super Bowl.
Right.
Get your head out of you. You know what?
It can be smoothed over, to your point. But as of right now, in this moment, listening to that audio, knowing the Giants' depth chart, this is a problem.
Yeah, by all means, though, take a running back. It'll fix the whole thing.
It's not a problem.
Well, it could be.
No, I don't think so.
You need your best players on the same page.
No, because it's fixed as soon as he talks to John Harbaugh.
As soon as he says, here's where I was?
Yeah, this is why I didn't show up. So I apologize. I didn't think about it. I wasn't planning on coming. I should have told you.
I keep thinking, though, of what Coach Harbaugh said that day we were there about, I want guys who love football. If you don't love football, get out.
I think Paulson Adebo loves football.
I hope he does.
He just doesn't necessarily care about football on April 7th.
Well, isn't that connected?
Not really.
John starts like every press conference with isn't it great to be alive and talking about football?
Yeah.
He's like me in scoring games.
Yeah.
So he's going to look at someone who doesn't care about it on April 7th and probably be turned off.
Is this bad for the long-term prospects of Paulson Adebo as a New York Giant? Probably. Because the guys that love football are there.
That's my point.
I would be there in early March.
Damn right you
working out and just let's go. Let's get going again. But some people aren't that way. They have a different process to their offseason. And again, we have no idea. He could have, I don't know, his wife could have a baby or something.
No,
we have
absolutely.
no idea.
Absolutely. You could have like an excuse that makes everybody feel bad.
Right.
Like something happened. I have no idea. But you're right. You could tell that Coach Harbaugh was not happy with Paulson Adebo.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is something. If I have that tone with my kids, I'm pissed off. He's angry. Is that worthy of 2 podcasts, Sean?
I'm debating now. I pumped out 2 hours worth of content yesterday. I guess more's coming.
Stop whining. Pod your ass off, man. You're the voice of Giant fans.
Some of us work harder than you, Evan. You just have to understand
This
that.
has nothing to do with me. What do I have to do with this?
Some podcasters push the envelope,
What does that mean? Did I do a Rico yesterday?
Did you do 2 Ricos?
Why would I do 2 Ricos?
Did you do a Rico and then, I don't know, a Kevin Elster?
Imagine if I started that. Just started a Kevin Elster randomly. That's a good poll right there.
You're welcome. Yes.
I liked Kevin Elster. Played for Texas, played for the Yankees.
Yes, he did.
He's one of those Met Yankee guys.
That's why Sean knew him.
That's why. Richie's in Queens. What's up, Richie?
Hey, guys. Real quick before I got a question for Tiki. Happy birthday, Tiki. 51, really.
Appreciate you.
You're catching up to. I still got 27 years on you, Tiki. So, but enjoy your day. You do a great addition there. Real quick with the Knicks. They don't get out of the East. The defensively is the issue, Evan. I know with the, I just think Mitch is their best defensive guy, but he's a liability offensively. I don't see it. The question I got, Tiki, to you is, I didn't think we'd see this upheaval a little bit. Adebo, now not a big deal, but the Lawrence thing came out of left field. I thought that would be a priority. I thought that Dexter would say, hey, we've got a coach here. We're going in the right direction. I thought it would be handled, like you just said, in-house.
Right.
I don't know how this goes on. And, it changes if he does not come back. And I mentioned it to Shawnee. What does that do with defensive tackle? Did they go for a Banks? Did they change their whole direction? So I think this is not good.
I don't know how.
Appreciate
you, Richie. I don't know how. You're not replacing Dexter Lawrence. It's not like if Dexter Lawrence is traded and you get a draft pick and whatever. You're not replacing him. There's nobody that's going to be on that level immediately. With that being said, this team still has holes it needs to fill. This team is not winning. I mean, maybe they do, but I don't think they're winning 13 games this year. And so there is a process that still has to go on to make this team better. And is it the balance is it worth moving off from Dexter, getting a lesser piece, but perhaps building a better team in the long run? That's what you have to figure out. That's what you have to try to balance right now if you're John Harbaugh and Joe Shane and Don Aponte and all those other people that are making those decisions. And it's not easy because you'd rather just have the great player.
Yeah, especially when John wants to win. Now, it doesn't mean he's getting fired if they don't. No one's suggesting that. But he has made very clear that the expectation has been raised for the New York Giants. If they trade Dexter Lawrence, accomplishing that goal becomes more difficult.
Right.
Period. You can create cap space. That's great. Free agency's main layer is over. It's not like you're using it to do some kind of big splash. You may get an extra draft pick. You're not picking somebody in this draft that's replacing Dexter Lawrence.
Right.
So more than anything, what you'd be doing if you trade Dexter is maybe the best thing for the franchise long term. He's getting older.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he doesn't pan out. Maybe what we saw last year is truly what he is. You get extra draft capital. You get cap space. Blah, blah, blah. 2027 may be a better place for the New York Football Giants if they trade Dexter Lawrence. I can't argue that. But 2026 would be worse.
Yeah.
And that's a challenge because no one wants to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't think you guys want to do that.
No, you don't want to sit still. You want to drive yourself forward offensively and defensively and make yourself competitive.
We are going to find out about John Harbaugh very quickly because he seems like a trusting guy. He's shooting from the hip. He gave his answers at that press conference about Dexter, about Kayvon Thibodeau. Let's see if those words back up his actions. Let's see if Dexter Lawrence is traded in the next week and a half. Mm-hmm. It's on the table. Teams are calling. And there's a chance that one of these days, John Harbaugh, not Joe Shane, maybe Don Aponte, picks up the phone and says, excuse me? Okay, done deal. Yeah. Like, that's on the table, and then we'll go back to what John Harbaugh said here and say, come on, man. Like, he's telling you, but he's not really telling you. But he is telling you to quote a wise, wise man. And John Harbaugh basically quoted him without quoting him. The wise man's name is Ted DiBiase. Everybody's got a price for the $1 million man. So am I looking to trade this player? Not necessarily. But if he's asking for too much money and the Buffalo Bills come a-calling, and they're offering me a late first-round pick, see ya.
All right, don't test me.
Don't test me. So I think it's going to be a very interesting few days or a few weeks for John Harbaugh leading into the NFL draft.
Yeah.
And a very interesting few weeks for Sean, because I can sense this Jeremiah Love worry is really getting big in your head. Because you drop in digs like before.
Didn't Connor calm you a little bit?
No, he said Jeremiah Love's an option.
I know, but didn't he
it.
calm you because of the reason that Jeremiah Love's an option?
Yeah, listen, I get it. Now I'm looking at this Paul Sadibo thing going, they really are thin at corner. They are thin besides Dexter Lawrence at D-tackle. They could use another linebacker. And again, this offensive line spot, I keep hammering with the right guard, which is why the Maui Noah thing came up.
Yeah.
They are not equipped to take a running back fifth overall. I'm sorry, they're just not.
And here's the best part,
and they're likely not.
I know. But until the draft comes and goes.
And here's the best part, Tiki. We are going to get to sit on a couch with our good friends, Boomer Esiason, Greg Giannotti, Craig Carton, Big Mac, Jerry Recco, and we all can watch you have a meltdown. We're all going to watch it.
It's trending.
It's like a campfire. Like, we got the fire set up. We're making the s'mores. We're all just sitting there with our feet up, and we're watching the show. And the show may be Sean Morash having a meltdown when the Giants take Jeremiah Love at 5.
I have anxiety right now 2 weeks out. The team needs a corner now.
And you're going to get poked, too.
Feels like a Debo quit.
Like, when they draft Jeremiah Love, Tiki wants to give you, like, hey, don't worry, it's no big deal. Trust me, Gio, Boomer, Craig, they ain't going to do that. They're going to poke the crap out of you.
Great.
Speaking of which, the Carton Show with Big Mac is next. If you've missed any of the show, the podcast. See you tomorrow at 10 a.m.
This is an Odyssey Sports Minute.
For the first time since 1989, Michigan is your national champion.